Let's go.
Good evening, everybody, and it is a very warm welcome once again, this time to the Bahrain International Circuit, and we're replicating the weather conditions for you as well here in the UK. It's me, Richard John Neal, and great to welcome back Becky Aparicio. Hello, Becky, welcome back off your holiday and to real world. You okay?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, it was a nice holiday, but I always feel like I'm on holiday with living by the seaside, so that's always a perk, isn't it?
That is a bit. Yeah, I'm very envious. Very envious. I do miss the sea very much. Anyway, we've got some racing which will take our thoughts away from the sea for a little while. Rest of the staff this evening: Ian Danaher, our clerk, Steve Allen in the chair as our broadcaster, director, producer, keeping Becky and I on our toes and informed of timings and all that kind of stuff as we go through the course of the evening. We are edging towards the end of the campaign now. And a quick look back at Black Belt Fujitsu's last week. It was Andy Carroll with a double win who took gold last week. The hot summer of 76 being his number in case you didn't cotton on to that last week. Oliver Gibson in P2 on the points of the evening. Gabe Norse in third. Gabe is now within 2 points of Jack Smith from the lead of the championship. Andy Dorman was driver of the round. He had some really good battles through two or three of the races last week, so he was our driver of the round, and I think all four of those drivers went away reasonably happy, as did I. It was a good evening's work. Reeve Taylor and I enjoyed commentating on it, and we're looking forward to more of the same this evening. Before we look ahead to our racing at Bahrain, let's just remind ourselves where we are. I told you it was 2 points, and there it is on screen. Jack from Gabe, Andy Carroll up into third. A little bit of a gap back to Andy at the moment, probably by virtue of the fact that he wasn't around on round one, but he is very much the best non-BMW in this one. Kieran Haynes getting closer as well. He's in fourth from Ollie Gibson. Ollie Atkins closing up on those guys. Getting a little bit of a gap back to Ollie Atkins, but again, he's putting in a good charge of late. Andy Dorman seventh from Chris Blake and Lee Piercy. Mason Turner wrapping up our top 10. It's Christian Gillian in 11th place from Sam Gumbley, then Rich Hayden and Scott Bugner. Jack Dickerson in 15th. Now, I'm not sure who's here and who isn't at the moment, but Jack Dickerson being 15th would, if he's here, start on pole position for race one with Scott Bugner alongside. I'm not sure if either of those are with us, but we will see when we get to the grid a little bit later on. Outside of that zone, we've got Jacob Lander and Sam Walton, so they'll be looking to get into the point scoring positions along with Josh Brennan, Paul Laramie and Zach Hancocks, and then the three remaining point scorers are Jack Angel, Robert Shepherd and John Jones. So that's the way they line up in terms of the driver standings. The teams, of course, headed by DK Power Racing. There are 120 odd points available per meeting, so I think DK Power probably almost there, got one hand on the trophy, if not the trophy at the moment. I haven't done the maths, but very nearly there from Swift Cooper Black, Team Carbug, VRRC, SRT. I don't think we've got anybody from VRRC here this week, but it is, remember, a 2-round drop, and so they could potentially drop this one and one of the earliest scores, but can't drop next week. Shake and Bake 5th, Walter Max, Swift Cooper Blue, Independent team in 8th from Eden Garage Motorsport and Swift Cooper Orange. And I do the French accent because it's Bastille Day today, if that means anything to anybody. But I won't do French accent the rest of the evening. I promise we'll leave that well alone. They are our top 10 teams as we head into the penultimate event of this campaign, which is, as you can see, at Bahrain, the Sakhir circuit, FIA Grade 1. It's really what I think is the sort of backbone, that type of circuit of VRRC racing. When we go off and do the little spin-off championships, you know, maybe such as Legends Formula 4 will go in the UK, but the startup of VRRC very much about racing on the, giving people a chance to race on some, you know, GP grade venues, and that's what we've got. We've got a GP grade driver about to give us the lowdown on the track. That is Jack Smith. He's not in his BMW this time, So, by way of a difference, he's doing the hot lap today in the Aston Martin, and next time at Le Mans it will be in the McLaren. So it is a hot lap with Jack Smith, but because it's in the Aston, it'll be about 3 seconds slower. Let's have a look and see what Jack's eye view is like going around this wonderful track. So actually, it went a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. So to be honest, the Astons and the McLarens haven't been too shabby, and I think particularly as the drivers have got used to them over the campaign. And we look at Andy Carroll, and I mentioned the point again, he wasn't at Losail, so his first round Imola was kind of bedding himself in with the car. So I think a lot of the drivers have got to grips with them as they've gone along. But interesting evening, you say. I think we're a little bit down on numbers this evening, which is a pity. I think a lot of people working. Haven't any messages through for anyone to say what the excuses are. But we wind up with Sam Gumbly on pole position. So Sam actually 12th in the championship. Christian Gillian 11th lines up alongside him. Then Mason Turner and Chris Blakey. So we're missing Lee Piercy as well. Let me just put some crosses in the mix just so we can work out who's not here. Rich Hayden, I think, is away on holiday. I'm not allowed holiday, so I'm not quite sure how he manages to get them. I'm missing a couple of the Porsche rounds, to be honest, though. So when the new championship kicks off, I won't be around for all of those. But we do have Gabe Norse and Andy Carroll and Ollie Gibson. So plus the likes of Kieran Haynes, Ollie Atkins, Andy. Yeah, it's plenty of good drivers, enough to give us a very good race. As ever there is, you know, you could take 4 or 5 drivers out of any VRRC mix and still be left with a very, very entertaining evening, Becky, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll have some good battles out front, I'm sure, especially like you're saying with Andy Carroll, how he's been getting on with his McLaren lately. So it's always the joy of these later rounds in a championship. You find them really, they've found the limit of their cars and the tracks. So it always puts up some close racing between our drivers. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm guessing now that we're going to see Jack Smith drop Spa or COTA. I'll have to work out what the points were. I should have looked at the chart to see which one. I didn't bargain on him not being here, but he will drop one. That might extend his championship lead tonight. But we're about to go racing. And 3 races for you, 2 half-hour races and a quarter of an hour sprint race. And it's a good start from Sam Gumberley from Christian Gillian. And let's hope with a slightly reduced entry we don't get the shenanigans down into turn 1. They're all bunching up, as you'd expect them to do. So it is Gumberley from Gillian at the moment, and that is at Ollie Atkins having a little spin. It was Ollie off the track. He's going to go down. We'll see an Ollie recovery. I know that from Ollie for sure. Chris Blakey third. Kieran Haynes is the first of the championship front runners, or the top 6 runners, to come through in 5th place. And Gabe Norse in 6th right behind him. Then Andy Dorman and Ollie Gibson. Andy Carroll down in 11th place at the moment. So work to do for Andy Carroll, but on the whole it was a clean start. It wasn't too much squeezing going on, although Ollie might say he was squeezed. We don't really know, but there wasn't any big contact there as far as I could see.
Yeah, no huge pile-ups at the start, which is what we like to see, but unfortunate spin around there for Ollie Atkins. But as you say, I suppose as irritating as it can be happening at the start of the race, it's probably somewhat the best time for it to happen, because you've got 30 minutes to make up for it then, and claim few positions back. So yeah, it's probably better it happening now instead of obviously last lap, last corner. So like you say, he'll be making his way. He's already made up a couple of places already, so he's not holding back, as we've got Chris Blakey battling with Gabe Norse there, as Gabe looks like he might. Oh no, he's lost it again. They're battling between these. As Chris has spun, and I think he's caught Gabe as well. I can't see from this
Gabe's
angle.
dropped down. There's a little touch, wasn't there, on the back end? I don't think it certainly wasn't malicious. We know that Gabe wouldn't do that, but it's a tiny little bit of contact between the pair of them, and that was well before any of them took the spin. So yeah, you call that exactly right, Becky. But they've got some work to do now. Gabe's still on track in 6th place, so still in with a shout, and we've seen this from him before, and the likes of Jack Smith that will come back up for a potential podium. But it's Sam Gumberley from Christian Gillian, Kieran Haynes next up. And all of a sudden we see blue and orange working its way steadily up the field, up into 7th place. That is Andy Carroll, who is looking to try and get closer to Norse and Smith in the standings. He's got a huge amount of work to do. Is it me, or does the McLaren look even lower today? It's just like a lower profile. Has he been messing around with the ride height, do you think?
Yeah, but potentially. I don't know if he actually put in the Discord chat about ride heights the other day. So yeah, he's definitely probably running it a lot lower than before, and compared to the Beamers. The Beamers look quite beastly in comparison to the McLarens, but I'd probably go for the McLaren. But yeah, he's been getting into the swing of it. But we've got Kieran Haynes making progress as well, and he got his first win last of this championship last time out. Which was good to see. So I'm sure he's feeling pretty confident this week as well, considering I'm sure he said last week the track wasn't one of his favourites, so hope favours this one a bit better. But like you've mentioned before, everybody that always says, oh, I don't really like this track, but seem to perform well on it. So maybe that's what we just need to do, get a list of all the tracks drivers hate and do that as a championship as well. They'll love that. But yeah, he'll make good progress, and he'll be hoping for another win, or maybe a couple or even 3 wins tonight, will Kieran?
He could, yeah, I'll tell you what, we wouldn't bet against that, would we? As Oliver Gibson gets passed by Gabe Norse. Lovely move by Gabe, teed it up nice and early, went down the inside, and now Ollie has got Andy Carroll right with him as well. So Gabe Norse, after that little moment, as we said, claws his way back in very quickly and up into 5th place. Dorman, Gillian, Haynes and Gumberley ahead of him. Sam Gumberley doing a super job out front, leading at the moment and battling with Kieran Haynes. One thinks that it'll probably be just a matter of time before Kieran makes the move on Sam, because he's got that much more experience at the sharp end of things in VRRC, and he's about to have a look down the inside and challenge for the lead as they go across the starting grid. And it is Haynes now with his nose in front. He's got the line into the next corner as well, but Sam Gumberley, good healthy lead for a couple of laps there. Christian Gillian back in 3rd, Andy Dorman 4th. But it's Kieran Haynes, as you say, after his first win last week. He'd been plenty of podiums, but now he's got the winning habit. He wants to build that and carry on this evening and do it. And you have to say, with a slightly reduced grid, it will be the top 15. He's going to have more work to do in the race, because there weren't 15. There weren't the top 15 point scorers to reverse off the front for the first race, but it will be the top 15 finishers. So he'll have more work to do if he wins this one from it will be the very back of the grid, so we'll have a total reverse, which we've been talking about the last couple of weeks for race 2. But of course, you get the points, and it'll be fastest off the front for the final. Whoever scores most consistently over our 2 races. Oliver Gibson not losing out too much to Gabe Norse. Ollie in the blue, Gabe in the red and white BMW immediately ahead of him. Andy Carroll is next up. Interesting to see Andy doing some different lines, really making that McLaren work and trying to close in on Oliver Gibson. It really is a battle between those two for 3rd and 4th position in the championship. Kieran Haynes 5th at the moment. Ollie Atkins getting up into the top 6 on his last one. And now we see right in the mix is Gabe Norse, right up in a podium battle now.
Yeah, I'm sure Andy's probably seen that view as well before between Ollie and Gabe. So he's probably hoping it kind of plays out the same way it has done before, with unfortunately a bit of contact. I'm actually a little bit behind, so I'm probably a few seconds behind what's actually happening. So you making a seems like I should pass back over to you so you could tell everybody what's happening.
Yeah, a wee bit of contact there. A side swipe on Ollie Gibson. It was a black car, so I'm trying to work out who that was. Very possibly, was it black and yellow? Was it Christian Gillian? Maybe. You can see Christian's still there. It could have been Andy Dorman, who's got black on his car as well. And the meat in the sarnie at the moment is young Oliver Gibson in 4th place. Do they serve sarnies at the hot cabin? I'll tell you what, he's just been in one if that is the case. But Gabe Norse up into 3rd. It's Haynes from Gumbly. Norse next up. Oliver Gibson fighting for 4th and 5th place. He's down behind Andy Dorman. So Andy getting to grips with the championship now as well. A little bit further back, we've got Jacob Lander chasing Ollie Atkins. Ollie Atkins at the back of this group, about to have a little nibble away at Christian Gillian, who has just lost out big time the last lap or so. He was in 3rd place, but now drops down, which is a pity for Christian. Still in decent 8th place points as Ollie Gibson goes a little bit wide. That's going to give Andy Carroll a chance to close back in, but as I say, wherever you look, some decent pedallers here. Only one, I don't think I've commentated on VRRC at Bahrain. I'm sure I had done a Bahrain round. Maybe it was the BMW Championship we did a little while ago. But the last World Endurance League round that we had here was 2024, which Jack Smith won when we just did the one long race. Ollie Gibson 2nd, Chris Blakey in 3rd on that occasion. So surprised not to see Jack Smith. I'm guessing those nasty people from the sports car team, Century Motorsport, are keeping him at work today. Whether that is the case or not remains to be seen. Again, haven't had any messages from Jack, and I must admit apologies that I don't keep up with the comments on YouTube. There's no point in me having YouTube open, to be perfectly honest, other than for the comments, but YouTube is a little bit behind, so if I'm watching that, I'm excuse me, very much out of kilter. So apologies to any of you that do leave me messages in the YouTube, but I don't manage to pick up on those. More is the pity. So it is around about a 3rd distance at the moment. Haynes from Gumbly and Norse. That changes around because Gabe does a lovely move down into turn 1 and goes up into 2nd place. We were talking about him getting his way back onto the podium. He's done that. He's on the 2nd step of the podium, and he's now going to try and close down on Kieran Haynes. 1:57.181 is the fastest lap of the race. That's with Gabe Norse in P2, and he's going to score some points here. Once again is Gabe Norse. I need to have a quick look at his scores. So I'll take my eye off the screen. Worst round for him, Imola, 14th, 2nd and 2nd. So 14th place would have been a 12 points, plus 40, 40, 80, 92 points. Give or take a couple of fastest laps probably for Gabe. And then Jack Smith, yeah, probably Spa he drops because he didn't score in race 3 and had a 2nd and a 9th. But I don't think there's a huge amount on drop scores between that pair. But this would definitely obviously be Jack's drop score round. But Gabe Norse just knows he needs to go all out and race, which he's doing. So he won't settle for anything less than the win as he tries to close down on Kieran Haynes out front. Looking back from Andy Dorman at Oliver Gibson in 5th. Andy Carroll behind him. Andy's sort of not run out of steam, but maybe run out of momentum at the moment to try and get back on terms with Oliver Gibson. Might be good here for Andy if Ollie and Andy get into I should say good for Andy Carroll if Andy Dorman and Ollie Gibson get embroiled in battle. But at the moment, you can see that Ollie Gibson is busy focusing on his lines. Now sees a chance to move up to the outside. He draws level. He's going to get his nose in front of Andy Dorman, but he's on the outside run as they come down the straight. They've got Sam Gumberley in the mix as well. And now Gibson reads the track well, decides to have a look down the inside, as does Andy Carroll, who's got the inside run here in the McLaren and goes through. Is he going to pass Gumberley as well? You've got to say that was very well read initially by Oliver Gibson, but even more so by Andy Carroll, who comes through into 4th place. Lovely piece of racecraft by him. And Andy Dorman read things very well too. Let's not leave Andy out of the equation, coming through into 3rd place. So Dorman gets himself on the podium. Andy Carroll gets himself within sight of the podium. And Oliver Gibson, who read the start of the move real well, really was on a hiding to nothing there, because he had cars queuing up not only behind him, but also having a go either side to try and get past him. He's not lost out hugely, but he's still got a lot of work to do, Oliver Gibson, from 5th place.
Worked up with all this action that's happening, I'm going to have to go back and rewatch all that because I missed those moves. I could just kind of kept clipping back in, seeing 4 cars wide going into turn 1, and then it would go again. So, but nicely done by whoever made that move happen, keeping it nice and clean. So yeah, very good. I was going to mention something as well. Oh, I know why Jack's not here. He kept it quiet. He's in Thailand.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Okay.
So another person on holiday. So just to rub it in for you, Richard.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. If you answer on the postcard, what is a holiday? rjn@vrrc.com. No, it's not a real email address, but yeah, I think I might be going to the Isle of Wight in November. Probably visit John Jones while I'm out there, because that's where he's from. He's not even here this week. He's on holiday. He's probably gone somewhere better than the Isle of Wight, but hey-ho. As we watch Andy Dorman in 3rd place. Now, Andy Carroll, who is stealthily closing up, as ever he does. I was going to say there's not an urgency about Andy Carroll, but that's the wrong phrase, because there clearly is, because he's a racing driver and he's in that car. But he just seems to bide his time and work things out. He's a little bit of, I don't know, who's the cerebral driver these days, Becky? In my day, it was Alain Prost, who used to think the laps out a couple of laps ahead. Who is it these days? Do you know?
Well, I don't know. They're all quite fiery, aren't they? And just kind of want to get on with it and be leading from the get-go. But
yeah.
I think Andy said last week, didn't he? His car's a lot better when he's got less fuel in it. So he's probably, again, like you say, biding his time, waiting for the fuel level to drop a bit, where he's got a bit more grip and speed in his car, so he can make more of an attack rather than maybe some of the more opportunist moves. So that intrigues me for what his strategy will be for next week's round. Will he start with a low fuel load anyway? Because like we've said before, you have to do a pit stop, as Ollie's now chomping at the bit to get the first Andy to then take on the next Andy that's down the road. So he's got his screen full at the moment of the 2 potential. He's got the McLaren and an Aston Martin ahead of him that he's going to be thinking, right, how do I get you both? Be nice to do it in one corner, make it a little less work for him, I suppose, or maybe more, depends which way you look at it. But yeah, no, Andy Carroll, like you say, he's just very cool and collected about it. No real urgency, but there probably is. But he just knows, again, his car comes into its own later on in the race, so not rushing things too much, as he's kind of sneaking alongside the side of Andy Dorman there, kind of like just making sure he knows he's there in his wing mirror.
He's having a go, isn't he? So too is Oliver Gibson, just trying to close up. Now, are we going to say... I'm going to do a pun here. I did a couple for Reeve last week, and what I was going to say was that Oliver Gibson here has got a mountain to climb. It's the Andes. It's a range of mountains. It's the 2 Andes.
Oh, that's...
Oh, no, you laugh more than Reeve does. I like you better than Reeve.
Oh, no, I like it. I really do. I must admit, I was watching the stream, re-watching it this morning. So, yeah, I was chuckling away. So people probably, if they could hear me, were thinking I was losing the plot a little bit. But no, I did appreciate some of your puns from last week, and that one was brilliant. And I'm a little bit upset that I didn't think of it.
Oh, you'll be there. You'll be quicker than this old man sitting here commentating on sim racing, as Oliver Gibson is having a go around the outside now. This is really good hard work here by Oliver Gibson, and he's got the inside run for the S's here, but the second part of the S's inside goes to Andy Carroll. Andy Dorman could very well use this to get away. Little mistake there from Andy Carroll. Runs a little bit wide, keeps the momentum going, keeps the car in front, and will hang on to fourth place. Oliver Gibson wants to get on the podium. Sam Gumbley's still handy in sixth place, running well. This is a really good drive from Sam Gumbley at the moment. So, okay, he's off the podium, but he's keeping in touch with these three. And it's not because they're battling, not really losing time with each other, to be honest, I don't think. Gabe Norse, meanwhile, has got the lead. Apologies for not really talking about Gabe and Kieran. It's Gabe from Kieran, Andy Dorman in third. So here is our race leaders with, we're only at half distance, and Norse already there, still got the fastest lap of the race, a 1:57.063, last lap a 1:57.1, and a 1:58 for Kieran Haynes on the last lap. But Kieran here is going to bang in another podium. I think Kieran has a couple of years, or a good few years, less experience than Gabe. One of the things we haven't done in terms of getting driver information is ages and things like that. And I think probably with obviously a lot of youngsters, we don't want to necessarily impart all that personal information on air. We've got protection issues and all that kind of thing, and data protection and all that hoo-ha. But Kieran very much more of a newcomer to sim racing than Gabe. And then we've got some who are a little bit more experienced, like Andy Dorman and Andy Carroll, who's just popped up into P3. So Andy Carroll has got the McLaren on the podium. There he is. And what's happened to Andy Dorman? He's had a spin. I think that was a spinning Andy Dorman in the background. So Oliver Gibson now into fourth. The question is, now that it's only a two-car equation for third and fourth, is that going to allow the McLaren to get away? Or are we going to see Oliver Gibson just have his focus on one car rather than two? It looks like he's working the car there, though, Becky, I think, because he got a bit squirrely.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of contact between the two Andys coming into that first corner, so maybe a bit of late braking and just a bit of misjudgment there. So again, leave that to the stewards, that's fine. We don't have to worry about that, which is great. But yeah, we'll see how this battle unfolds, as I'm sure, yeah, surely they're going to be proper fighting now and thinking, right, Ollie will want that position. He'll want a podium at least, with obviously Kieran and Gabe a little bit further up the road, but still in sight, which does make a difference. It does kind of pull you along a bit and give you a bit of a momentum. And Andy will just be hoping to keep him at bay, hopefully try to close that gap up ahead. But they are quite a way up the road, so it's probably a lot to do in these 12.5 minutes left. But he'll still give it his all, and he'll be hoping to at least increase that gap between him and Ollie, so he's not so much of a threat with the last laps, for him to mount an attack and go for some moves around the last sort of corners of this race.
Yeah, it could all come down to that last few corners as we've seen before. The gap 1:75. Gabe Norse improves the fastest lap again. His car beginning to work in as well as it gets lighter. Tyre wear still pretty good. I've just seen that we had a message this afternoon from Rich Hayden. He's paddleboarding somewhere sunny. So yeah, thanks Rich for. Why is everybody else on holiday in the sun? This is not fair at all. But hey ho.
We'll start a petition for you, Richard. Don't worry. We'll petition for you to get a holiday.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea.
That sounded like I was being really offensive then. Like, let's get him gone. Not in that way. Just because you deserve a recharge and a refresh.
I think half the audience would probably agree with that sentiment. Get shot at me for a little bit. It probably wouldn't hurt. Here's Paul Laramie though. So Paul Laramie and Jacob Lander with Mason Turner in the mix as well. Paul Laramie, the automat car, and in 10th position at the moment. Remember, we don't even have to worry about the bubble for who's going to be reverse grid. So Jack Angel's going to be on pole position at the moment for race 2 with Mason Turner alongside. So we are going to hopefully get to talk about some different drivers at the sharp end of things for race 2. 11 minutes to go. Norse 2 seconds cleared out of Kieran Haynes. Kieran doing a good job still in P2 and building on his continued podium experience that he's had over the last couple of rounds. But it's the Swift Cooper boys that are trying to hunt down Paul Laramie at the moment. And bear in mind, you know, the likes of I think Jack Angel has been up in the top 10. He had a 7th, didn't he, in the first one? Didn't Jack Oliphant call him something weird in the first? I can't. Was it yourself with Jack on the first one?
Yeah, it was Angle. And then we got corrected in the chat. So yeah, Angel. So if we got corrected, so that was good. And he had a broken collarbone, I believe, at the start. I'm assuming it's still not great. So he's still, we decided that was probably his physiotherapy, a bit of sim racing.
I guess it could either help or it won't. I think you've got to keep moving, haven't you, when you get these kind of injuries, as we ride on board with Oliver Gibson trying to hunt out. He had a sick note, didn't he, on one of them as well? Ollie Gibson, I can't remember which round it was. Was that the Spa evening? I was going to say Spa weekend, but Spa weekend is what my son's girlfriend is hoping he is going to take her on. Actually, could take her to Spa Francorchamps, couldn't he, rather than a hotel? But don't tell her.
That's the type of Spa weekend every girl wants, surely.
Well, you say that. You say that.
I wouldn't say no if anybody is offering.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So I guess there must be a Spa hotel there as well. We could probably do the best of both worlds. North's still out front. What is the gap now? It's 2.5. He's really pulling that gap out now. Half a second since we last checked. So North's really on a smooth one at the moment from Haynes and Carroll. Oliver Gibson trying to close in, but Andy Carroll looking decent for another podium here. Andy's sort of multitasking this evening as well, because I think he's doing server running as well for us. So thanks, Andy, for handling that side of things as well. Andy Carroll, just to sort of rub salt into the wound, everyone else hasn't finished lower than 7th through the. That's the kiss of death, isn't it? Me saying that. Hasn't finished lower than 7th in the races that he's done. So he's been super fast, super consistent as well.
Yeah, but let's just hope there's no engine failure these last 9 minutes. Now you said that, and then another shout out for Sam Gumley, because he's sitting pretty in P6. Christian's not closing up the gap or anything, so he's got a good consistent pace going as Sam. So fair play to him. And I'm assuming I need to get my all my previous results up, but I think it's probably going to be one of his best finishes.
Yeah, Sam Gumley, let's have a quick look. He has had, we say he's been in the top 10, so I think his best result was an 8th last week. He was sort of being, it wasn't sort of mentioned in dispatches for driver of the round, but let's put, so 6 would be a best result. You know, even without the likes of Jack Smith and Scott Bugner, it's a good performance. And he's holding off the likes of Christian Gillian, who we know can hold his own at the front. Chris Blakey, definitely VRRC race winner. Ollie Atkins, who we've seen up on the podium. Paul Laramie, race winner with us before. Mason Turner, front runner too. So Sam Gumley is ahead of all of those drivers. So this is really good stuff from him as we look at Chris Blakey. I'm going to close down the picture of Rich Hayden, which has been staring at me for the last 20 minutes. So I'm sure Rich will watch this back and have a little chuckle while he did a well-earned holiday. He doesn't work hard as Rich. So enjoying that as we watch Chris Blakey trying to close down on Christian Gillian. I think he is making inroads into this, but just 7 minutes remaining of the first race of the evening for Chris Blakey to come through. I've got to say, I don't think any of these guys were out racing at the weekend. I had a quick look through TSL at the various championships that were out. Sam Hancock's, I think, was racing in the Mazdas, but he's not here this weekend, which is I knew it, I'll tell you, weekend. He's not here this evening, which is a shame, but I'm not sure if any of the other guys are racing. I didn't check the 750 or if there was any 750 racing at the weekend, but I'm guessing it probably wasn't, because their commentator was at Zandvoort standing in for me doing the F4.
Yeah, it's a problem when we get into a prime season. There's so much going on that it's hard to keep an eye on everybody and what everybody's doing.
It's like that. I had a great weekend. We was at the Adwell Vintage Vehicle Show, which I was booked for in January, which is why I couldn't do F4. I don't like letting people down. But do you know what was really nice was going to a car show rather than a meeting, is that nobody was moaning. When you go to a race meeting, half the paddock will moan at you about stewarding, about other competitors, about budgets, but nobody at the Classic Car Show moaned at all. So if you fancy getting away from the racing paddock and having a nice day out, admittedly not watching racing, we did have a little, I was going to say a live action arena, but it wasn't a live action arena because it was a bit of field fenced off, but we had some cars sort of trotting around. But yeah, really lovely environment for where people enjoy their cars. And we had one of the Jordan Formula One cars there as well, the one that Fisichella and Sato raced and scored points with back in the day. But anyway, I've gone off at a huge tangent. But and going off at a huge tangent as well as Chris Blakey. That is how much catching Christian Gillian meant to him, and he just loses out. But he's back on track, and Gillian now will be having a little chuckle because he's got a bit of breathing space.
Yeah, lessens that pressure a little bit on Christian, doesn't it? So he'll be quite happy now, thinking, right, I can probably make it to the end now with no further kind of attacks coming my way. And yeah, I don't think he's going to catch up with Sam because that gap's been kind of consistent throughout now. So he'll probably be quite happy, like I say, to be. And he's got a car in between him and Chris now, so he'll be like, right, great, there's somebody else to buffer that attack. And as we flash back to up the grid to Ollie Gibson, who's still trying to close in on Andy. Andy has closed the gap between himself and Kieran, as Kieran's probably dropped a bit off Gabe as well. So it's getting a bit closer, but I don't think we're going to get too much action happening between the top four. Unless again we have a few kind of mistakes, maybe a driver going wide and enabling the one chasing to make a move on that. But that looked a little bit gitty there for Ollie. I think again I'm a little bit behind with what's happening, so I've got a shot of Ollie. I'm not too sure what everybody else is seeing, but at the corner I was just watching, he just looked like he could have jumped over the curbs a little bit.
Well, I missed that because I was busy looking at points, because I suddenly realised there's a little scrap on for third place in the championship. Sorry, fourth position in the championship between Ollie Gibson and Kieran Haynes. And at the moment, Kieran is 7 points to the good in this one, and the gap is 8 points. So he'll get to within a point of Ollie Gibson if things stay the way they are here. So very close for fourth position in the championship between those two. And we'll have to keep an eye on that as we get into race 2 a little bit later on. But we're looking at Ollie Atkins again, who was last on the podium, race 1 last week. Ollie Atkins, I think that was post-judicial, so we'll give Ollie the shout out anyway. I know that I can't remember who had penalties last week. I think all the big guns did at some point, including Jack, who, it was funny on the interviews, wasn't it? He said, oh yeah, that was all right, it was okay, but he got the penalty. And I think Gabe had one in race 1. I think Jack Smith had one in race 3, something like that anyway. But it just goes to prove that, you know, anybody at any part of the grid is going to be susceptible to close racing and a little bit of contact and the odd penalty.
Yeah, it's almost, as it sounds, this is going to sound bad me saying this, but it's kind of nice when everybody does get a penalty every so often. It shows how actually serious it's taken. And it's not just a case of it's always the same sort of people getting penalised and picked on. It's obviously if you've done something wrong, you're going to get a penalty for it. So unless again we see some drivers, obviously if they've overtaken off the track and they've given the pace back, then sometimes the steward will decide actually, okay, you've rectified it, I won't penalise you further. But obviously if there is need to, and it was again we had a few unsafe rejoins and stuff. So again consistently got the same sort of time penalty for different drivers for joining the track, obviously without checking their mirrors.
That is such a key one, and I remember the first time I happened across that in my commentary career, and it was actually a female driver up in Scotland who got penalised, and when we looked it back, because it was all filmed, the girl left plenty of time actually clear track, and whether it was marshals that reported incorrectly, I can't remember, but I do remember the girl in question got a penalty, but then it got rescinded because she did actually do a safe rejoin. And going back to the penalties here, I fully get that some of the drivers are going to be a little bit fed up sometimes with penalties, but in sim racing, probably more than real world racing, it really is a learning opportunity. And I think with as Christian Gillian goes a little bit slow there with a wide thing, I think with the fact that we've got Ian Danaher and his vast experience of real world clerking, I think it's really valuable, and I hope that penalties are taken as much as possible in the right spirit and to learn about what's happened. Ian certainly doesn't want to wind people up or cheese people off, but I think it's a valuable thing that you're buying into. So I'm not saying that you should celebrate getting a penalty, but I think it's worth understanding the value of it. And we've now got, as we say, Ollie Atkins closing up on Christian Gillian. So Christian, who was looking to battle with Sam Gumberley earlier on, now coming under a bit of pressure from Ollie Atkins, and this is going to give us only 32 seconds on the clock. Let's have a quick shifty. It will be the last lap regardless, and Jack Norse goes across the line onto his last lap. Now, I said it was the last lap moments before it actually was the last lap, which Jack Norse is on now, and the lap's just under 2 minutes.
You've done it again, Richard. You've mixed them together.
Yeah, once again done that as Ollie Atkins. Now, a good little battle going on here with Christian and Ollie Atkins. Chris Blakey down behind. Sam Gumberley still in that staunch 6th spot, and yeah, marking that out as I think if we were doing driver of the race, it would possibly be him, as Ollie Atkins wants to put the move on. He gets his nose in front. He's got the line as well coming down into that first corner, but runs out wide, and Christian Gillian's going to return the favour. Good bit of racing between the pair of them here. A pass and a repass, still side by side, and Christian Gillian is going to try and hang on to it, but Ollie Atkins gets the line out of the corner and consolidates that 7th place. Fair play to both of them. Really good, respectful racing. Clean, that's exactly what Ian Danaher wants to see. It's what we want to see as well. But a good job by Ollie Atkins, who his efforts of closing down on Christian Gillian, and then clean pass was repassed and got back in. That's racing. That is the dicing of it, the repassing. That's racing by definition. Love it to bits.
Yeah, and after having the unfortunate start as well, he's not let that get to him, and he's pushed on, and he was looking really keen then to be able to get that position. And I must admit, when I saw the gap before, I wasn't expecting him to catch up with Christian there. So fair play to Ollie, and he'll be hoping to make amends, especially for the next couple of races, and hopefully no incidents to drop him all the way back, because it probably definitely one of those what ifs. He could have definitely been further up the order as he has been in previous races, as we're watching Gabe now just about to cross the line as the first race winner of this evening.
Yeah, Gabe Norse, what a great recovery from those early stages. Again, there was nothing frantic about it. Just got on with the job of coming back through the field one by one, up into the lead. Early doors in this race he did, and takes the win. Kieran Haynes in 2nd position from Andy Carroll, who bags another podium. Good points for Oliver Gibson in 4th place. But by my reckoning, that 4th position in the championship now is between 4th and 5th now, only a solitary point. Andy Dorman 5th, good strong race from last Tuesday's driver of the round, and Sam Gumberley, great performance here, ahead of some real strong driving talent here. Well done, Sam. 6th place, Ollie Atkins 7th from Christian Gillian. Christian crosses the line now. Chris Blakey is in 9th. 10th position goes to Mason Turner from Jacob Lander, and Jack Angel, I think, was in the Jack pitted. Hopefully we'll be out for race 2 and get a bite of the cherry from the front of the grid. They are your finishers, and we'll have a chat with our top 3 in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
Early stages of the second Legends Stars race.
That little sting for the Scottish Legends, who are fully booked this year. They've got full grids wherever they go, and we'll see them on the touring car bill at Knockhill, their home track in this is the 2nd weekend in August, I think. So really looking forward to that. I think we might be having chats with them about doing another virtual series as well. Meanwhile, let's bring you back to the World Endurance League and our top 3 interviews. Once again, we get to talk to Andy Carroll. Andy, double duty. I think you're looking after the server for Rich as well this evening, and another cracking drive up into up into third place. So well done. And how are you this evening?
Yeah, good, thank you. It's a bit warm, but yeah, and yeah, just trying to hopefully make sure that I'm doing this server stuff correctly. But yeah, no, it's yeah, tough to overtake in that track. Actually, it was really tough trying to come through past some of the other drivers. Really tight track. Yeah, sort of delayed me quite a bit trying to get past some of them. So yeah, that's when kind of Kieran and Gabe got out in front. So apart from that, yeah, obviously pleased with another podium.
There was a big bunch of you at one stage. I think it was like 4 or 5 of you dicing it out for, I think it was maybe 4th place at the time. And it looked at the start of the moves coming down the main straight like Ollie was going to get up into 3rd. And he got swamped by everybody else and you nipped down and got in front of everybody. So, yeah, how much are you sort of aware, and you know, how much can you sort of make the move based on what you're seeing when there are that many cars around you?
Yeah, I'd say yeah. Obviously had to go out wide, and you kind of obviously these guys you race with them every week, so you know most of them are trustworthy, so you can kind of trust they're not going to sort of move across or anything like that. But yeah, sometimes you've just got to kind of hope you hit, especially that part of the track you can't always see your braking reference. So yeah, you just kind of got to hope that you brake at the right point. And yeah, I think managed to get a couple into turn 1. So yeah, as I say, it was pretty decent race. Hopefully more of the same now in race 2. So hopefully this time I'll try and stay a bit closer to guys in front. I think at the end there, my tyres were in much better shape. I was sort of looking at the lap times, and I was sort of picking up quite a bit of time on them. So I'm hoping if I can be close to them in this one, that I might have a bit of an advantage come the last few laps.
Pretty much the same kind of deal, isn't it? So you're at the front of the standings, you're at the front of the race. So I think we've got a total reverse in the next one. So maybe a couple more cars for you to have to battle past.
Yes, let's say yeah. It's been yeah. This is so far. I think this has been one of the trickier tracks to try and get past people. I know Gabe's normally past everyone by about halfway around the first lap normally, but yeah, I tend to struggle a bit more. So hopefully I'll see if I can try and follow him through.
Good stuff. Sounds like a good strategy. Hopefully we get to chat to you a little bit later on, Andy, but well done on
so.
First podium of the night. Well done, mate.
Cheers.
And thanks for looking after the server for us as well.
Don't speak too soon.
Andy Carroll, 3rd place. 2nd place, we're going to hand over to Becky. So over to you, Becky, for our P2 interview.
Thank you very much. And in 2nd place, we've got Kieran Haynes. Congratulations on your P2. I was just looking back at all your previous results. You've always finished in the top 10. So obviously liking the car. I know you weren't a fan of last week's track. So is this a better track for you? Is this more enjoyable?
The track, probably not better than the last one. Just because I love this track, but just not getting the feel of it with this car. I'm very struggling on the straight line speed, and I think the second to last corner, I'm losing like a 10th. So there's a bit of pace to find and pick up, but I think we'll find that within the next 2 races to come.
Okay, so does that mean we're doing a few setup tweaks, slight ones, just to see if you can get that momentum out on those straights?
Yeah, I think I might have to, yeah.
Very brave. I wouldn't want to mess with anything. I'd be like, we'll just keep going with this. But so yeah, plan of attack for the next race. I'm not guessing you're probably starting obviously a little way back, so a few cars to overtake on the way.
Yeah, I think I'm starting like P11, I think. So yeah, a couple of cars to overtake.
Do you enjoy that though? Do you like going for the overtakes, or would you rather be starting on pole and be able to get off into the distance straight away?
I know people like I love starting on pole because it's much easier, but I do love starting at the back and coming through the pack because it's just It's so much fun.
Yeah, you got to love a bit of close racing, especially in your touring cars.
No, I wasn't a fan of those.
Well, I will let you get all your tweaks done then and ready for the second race, and hopefully we'll chat to you again a little bit later on, but I'm sure we will with some of the performances you've put in this championship. So good luck for the second race.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations again.
Thank you very much again.
Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Kieran, as well. Well done. And well done to our race winner. Once again, Gabe Norse, another win. Well done, Gabe. Super race. There was issues, I think, very early on, but, you know, once again, you didn't seem to let that worry you. Worked your way through. Fastest lap, another win. Well done. Talk us through your perspective of things.
Yeah, I mean, on the first lap, I made up quite a few positions, and then in like the third to last corner, just got tagged round and spun round. But I mean, that was all right. I managed to just about stay ahead of Andy, who was kind of the person I didn't really want to fall behind because that he's been quite quick recently. But yeah, I managed to then pick off a few more people. And then, I don't know if Kieran just let me through for the lead, or seemed as though he did, because he pulled over to the side. But yeah, it was quite a fun race.
That's good. Obviously, slightly depleted field, but it still means hard work for you guys because you've got a huge amount of cars to work your way through in races 1 and 2 as you try and earn the front row slot for the sprint race. And it's quite a nice format in that regard because we get to see you guys making your progress. We get to look and see who's making the early progress. But also we get the joy of watching a more traditional feel with the fastest off the front, albeit over the shorter race. So it's not a bad format overall, is it?
Yeah, it's quite fun because it means that even if you're starting kind of further forward in the first race, then if you do well in that, you can have a bit of fun trying to get through the field in the second one. And then it also rewards you if you've done well in the first 2 races with a quite high up start.
And you're carrying loads of ballast. I mean, you're 15 kg, which is, you know, amongst the fast guys, is the heaviest car out there. How much allowance do you have to make for that as you go along?
I mean, usually I kind of think every 3 kg is about a tenth, so it's not terrible, but over a race distance it really destroys the tyres. So, right. I mean, towards the end, Andy was catching quite a lot.
That's interesting to get that perspective. We've got about a minute on the clock. I'm not sure if that is for the next start time, but I'm going to say well done. I suspect we might get to chat to you again a little bit later on this evening, but well done on another win, Gabe. And I think in terms of overall points, that gets you into the lead. Jack's thrown me a googly here by taking the evening off, so I'm not sure what his 2 dropped rounds are and how that kind of pans out, but we'll be on course for it next week anyway. But well done. Thanks for chatting and good luck for race 2.
Yep, thank you.
Gabe Norse, race winner, with Kieran Haynes in second, Andy Carroll completing the podium, and interesting perspectives there. Andy saying, you know, Gabe's up in the lead by, or in the top 3 by halfway through the first lap. And Gabe wary of Andy Carroll about how quick Andy Carroll was in that one as well. So interesting to get the perspectives. Kieran's still not happy with the track as well. So fascinating stuff to hear from our top 3. And we've got some decent drivers who are off the podium who maybe we'll get the chance to shout to as we look forward to our second race of this penultimate event of the campaign. It's the 3rd campaign of 2026. The next one will be a 2-class Porsche Championship, which we've teased the last couple of weeks, and that will start the first week in August. So looking forward to that one. And just the one round left for us next week, Le Mans, which is triple points with a single race and an hour-long race and mandatory pit stop. So the drivers that did their pit stops last time obviously going to be a little bit more in tune than the drivers perhaps that didn't. And it was drivers that didn't do the pit stops last time that won the race, if you remember that one. But we're ready on the countdown for race 2. And Becky, good to see the likes of Jack Angel and Jacob Lander, Mason Turner up the front. Let's hope that they get the rub of the green on the start of this one and give us some coverage at the start.
Yeah, it'd be nice for them to have a nice clean start and show us what they're made of, and hopefully some good battles, clean battles, Always what we're after here. So yeah, fingers crossed, and I'm sure they'll give it their all, especially with the kind of tantalising offer they've been given, and be like, right, okay, let's grab it, let's go for it, and make the most out of it, because again, it chops and changes every week, and we've only got the 1 week left, and obviously there's none of this kind of shuffling about as much for next week with only the one race, but a lot to make up for next week as well, with 60 minutes of racing. A lot can change and happen in those 60 minutes.
Yes, a good point, actually. I hadn't thought about it. This is our last reverse race 1 grid race, isn't it, effectively, so of this campaign. I haven't looked at the sporting regulations for the Porsche Championship to see what we're doing on that. I'm guessing it's going to be similar, but it's going to be fascinating to see how it works into class. So maybe get some notes from Rich before next week and talk about that a little bit more. If you're watching this maybe for the first time, don't forget, if you know anyone that's got a sim, wants to come and have a go, they'd be very welcome to join VRRC, and perhaps a really good opportunity with a second class racing next time. My son was sort of mooting he might be interested in having a go in the second class, which underlines the thought that what's put him off in the past are all the very quick drivers we have at the front. So I hope we can get his PC problem sorted out and he'll join us on track. As we're about to join everybody racing on track, they are underway. Christian Gillian a little bit recalcitrant off the start. Sam Gumberley and half the field get ahead of him. Very disappointing. It's a shame for Christian. Meanwhile, it's Jack Angel that leads. Chris Blakey up into P2. Good start by Jack. Chris Blakey next up. A big Mr. Whippy going on, I think, for Kieran Haynes. Not what he wanted off the start, but still plenty of Swift Cooper cars right in the mix as well, as Ollie Atkins putting Jacob Lander under pressure here. So Ollie's going to try and have a little dive down the inside. Gabe Norse is 7th, Andy Carroll 8th, Ollie Gibson 9th, as they go through this first lap sort out. And again, I think, Becky, we might have reached the sort of magic number as Gabe Norse looks to try and go through, where, you know, we have the top 15. Oh, was that Kieran going off? Kieran Haynes, I think, maybe not. No, it was Mason Turner, I think, or Josh Brennan having a little moment going down the field. But going back to the number, the magic number thing, I was just saying we might have reached the magic number where it's not that much of a bundle into turn 1. Maybe we've hit the sweet spot in terms of the numbers here, because the first 2 starts that we've had here, both reverse grids, but generally everybody pretty well behaved.
Yeah, it seems to be nicely spaced out enough that we're not getting a massive pile up into the first corner, but still then allowing for some close racing as the race gets fully underway. So yeah, maybe that sweet spot. So again, with that class that we've got, this 2 separate classes, that we've got coming up in the Porsche, we might get a bit of that as well. Again, I'm not too sure how the races will be starting. Again, when you've got class racing with like endurance, you get staggered starts and stuff, so it'd be interesting if that's probably not doable with the server capabilities, as we've got 3 cars battling for kind of our P4 position, isn't it? Yes, because we've got Gabe, Andy Dorman and Ollie Gibson in that little battle there, as Chris has managed to take the lead, and so he'll be hoping to hang on to that after having that unfortunate, it almost looked like he probably outbroke himself, didn't he, in the last race, to drop off the back of Sam Gumberley. So he's now probably thinking, right, okay, just don't brake too late, take every corner how we need to, and we can hopefully hold everybody off. But Ollie Atkins once again is on the scene after making up positions in the last race. He's again looking eager to make as many places as he can, and obviously go for the win for this one.
He will. Double podium finisher, Ollie Atkins in the series so far. We missed him at Circuit of the Americas, but lovely to have him back last week and building on that form again. He's in P2 trying to close down on Chris Blakey as we look at the back shot from Gabe Norse. Not very often that you get cars in shot from the back of Gabe Norse, but it's Oliver Gibson here. And are we going to have a little bite from the dinosaur? I just saw a T-Rex, was sold for goodness knows how many million or something recently. I wonder what a Hoposaurus would go for if there was such a real car, but he's looking to try and take a bite out. It's a place made on Jack Angel by Gabe Norse. Jack doing Jack Angel doing a decent first couple of tours, still up in the mix with these guys, but Gabe wants to get on the case and close down on Blakey and Atkins before they get too far away. And you would say that Gabe's probably quite well placed here, unless he gets into a battle with Ollie Gibson. Ollie wants to stay with him. If they engage in battle, then that could slow them down. But Gabe Norse is going to be mindful of that. He'll just want to break the toe, get away from Ollie Gibson, and use his raw pace to close in on Ollie Atkins and Chris Blakey as Jack Angel gets involved and drops away a little bit. There is Andy Dorman in P5. Blakey's still out front. And there is Chris coming under pressure from Ollie Atkins. So Ollie has closed him down. They, I suspect, probably will get involved in battle. That will help Gabe Norse as well. I suspect they might slow each other down as they go into the shade of the grandstand. They emerge from that, back in the sun, back down into turn one. How long is Ollie Atkins going to have to wait to make his move? He's already on it as we utter the phrase. Looks down the inside, neatly done. Chris Blakey sees him, gives him the room, and it's not a battle, and Ollie Atkins is through into the lead.
Yeah, he had a lot of momentum going into that. I think Chris just thought, I'm not going to battle too much. He stayed on the racing line, didn't go too defensive. So maybe thought, actually, you crack on, hopefully be able to keep up with him and not allow Gabe to close up too much. But obviously, Gabe is kind of being pushed along by Ollie Gibson now, so it's probably, it's inevitable. He's going to catch up to the back of Chris at some point. Whether Ollie will still be behind him, obviously Gabe will be hoping he can drop him, and it means he's got full focus on attacking rather than having to defend. But yeah, they're both pushing on. A shame to see Chris not really fully kind of going for a defensive move, but again, you don't want to see anything too. Oh, as he looks like he's spun there again.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it, for Chris Blakey down to 6. We'll see where his recovery places him, but that was great news for Gabe Norse, who can now very much focus on the car in front. Lydia had a phrase for focusing on the car in front, and I can't remember what it was. I don't think she used it in the last broadcast, but she's used it before on some of the other ones. But it's focus. What she was saying is that Gabe Norse is now the chaser, and he's the sort of driver that, for me, I think if I'm in a kart race or something like that, I'm okay as long as I've got someone to focus on up front. As soon as I'm in the lead, I think the pressure's on. I get paranoid on track and you're worried about who's behind, and then I lose time. Gabe Norse isn't like that. I guess he's the proper driver, isn't he? He'll attack, he'll go for it, he'll focus, and once he's in the lead, he'll just focus on the quick laps. And that's what wins him championships and indeed the races that make those up as well.
Yeah, have your blinkers on. I don't know if the phrase was like, it's the carrot on the stick, isn't it? It's that angling bit in front of you that you can just focus on. And you kind of try to block everything else out without obviously being a danger on track. Obviously, you've still got to be aware of what's going on around you in case somebody's going to go for a dive from behind. But it definitely does, it spurs you on kind of thinking, actually, I can see them, so they're catchable. You don't necessarily look at the time gap that you've got. It's more just a case of I can physically see them, so I know I can reach them at some point.
Andy Carroll won't want to do the server again because at the moment he's down in 11th place. I don't know what's happened, but this will be one of his drop rounds. Obviously Losail was, but this will be a drop round for Andy Carroll, so I don't think he'll want to be volunteering on server duty again. But 11th place and 6 seconds down on Mason Turner, who is in 10th ahead of him as we ride on board with Kieran Haynes, trying to close down on Andy Dorman. He's got Andy, actually. He's just about to engage in battle. So here come the pair of them. Let's see whether Kieran can put the BMW past the Aston Martin. I was unfairly rude about the Aston, by the way, in the hot lap. I didn't really mean it. It was only in jest. I'm sure people probably realise that. We've had some good peddlers of the Astons. We do seem to be missing a few. Not heard from Scott Bugner, and because I'm not on Insta at the moment, Scott and I used to message occasionally on Insta, so I've not been able to do that, which is a little bit of a pity. So I don't know what he's been up to, but I think by the time the next series gets on, I'll probably go back on some of the socials and just try and reach out. It's frustrating in some ways that people don't sort of message. Use you have to give your phone number out, don't you, to get texts and things like that, which I don't always want to do. But it's very frustrating keeping up with drivers, keeping in touch with them over the course of the season, not using social media. But it's been such a frustration. I don't know how you find it, Becky, but social media can be such a nasty place at times, and I just like having the odd break from it.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely one of those. It's nice to probably have a bit of a breather every so often, as it looks like Andy and Kieran are not giving either of each other a breather there, battling away between each other. But yeah, social media, it's great for some things. It's just horrible when you get people using it for the wrong reasons, and the whole phrase of kind of a keyboard warrior being able to think they can say and do what they like behind a screen. It's not big or clever, really, is it? But and it's a shame that sometimes people do feel the need to take that step away and almost disconnect from, again, the connections you've got probably nationwide, or for, again, just for mental health reasons. But it's very, I think it's brave to then be able to do that and say, actually, no, I need to take a step back, I need to take a breather, and not obviously look into it, because sometimes it can be so depressing as well, can't it? All the news stories and stuff you see. So hopefully, at least on a Tuesday night, you get to come and watch some good racing, and it makes everything all nice and positive and cheery for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely right. I've had nearly 2 months off socials at the moment. I'm pretty good, and I've actually started reading books again, which is great. As we watched Jack Angel involved here up ahead of Mason Turner, his teammate. Good battle going on with that. And there is Andy Carroll at the back of this one. Andy in 11th place, fighting. I'll tell you what, he's made a big distance up here, Becky. He's really caught up well. Sam Gumbley back in 12th after a really good result in race 1. Has not had the rub of the green in this one. He's down in 12th place. So he's going to have work to do in this and race 3. But cracking little scrap going on further up here as we join Andy Dorman and Kieran Haynes. Dorman there at the moment. Let's see what Kieran can do. I get what Kieran was saying about the flow. Again, if you look at the circuit map, it doesn't kind of have that natural flow to it that a lot of circuits do. It's very much your Herman Tilke, stereotypical Herman Tilke type circuit, isn't it? Did Herman do this one? I can't quite recall. He probably did. But you know, not a naturally flowing track like a Brands. I've never seen before the plans that Brands Hatch had to redevelop when they were gunning for the Grand Prix a few years ago, and it looked absolutely mega. It's such a pity that Brands didn't redevelop. I don't think they'd have got past the local planning, but if you get a chance to seek it out, it was so many years ago now, and what they were planning to do with Brands would have made it an absolutely mega track. But I think the people that live over the back probably wouldn't have been too happy. But boy, would that have brought some extra commerce to the area if those plans had gone through. It was Nicholas Forgeston, the old owner of the track, that was looking to do that. A great pity it never happened. What I'm saying is the likes of Brands, much better flow to it, because when it was laid down or when they started using it, they just used the contours and the features that were there, a little bit like Anglesey to me, but this particular track for me doesn't have it, and I fully empathise with Kieran Haynes, who's doing a good job, and he's up in 4th place as we ride on board with the P2 man, slowly but surely closing in on Ollie Atkins, who's done a great job out front, but we'll be looking in his mirrors, so we'll see how Ollie can deal with the pressure from Gabe Norse, who's closing in, and Becky, I think Gabe on his charge here to get a double. And this will set up his treble if he can get the win here.
Yeah, he's looking poised and ready to pounce to take this first place as Ollie goes quite wide on the exit there onto the start-finish straight. So Gabe will be very eager to probably see if he goes to the inside and tries to, yeah, there you go. Right on cue. Thank you, Gabe. As he goes for the inside of turn number 1 and hopefully has enough gap between him that he's not going to be too, as it looks like he's locked up on his front tyre there. Hopefully not too close is Ollie then to kind of have that fight back through these this left-right of obviously the kind of the favoured sort of line, kind of swapping back and forth. But Ollie's not letting it go too easy. He's still right on his tail, so he'll be hoping to keep behind him and wait for the next opportune moment to go for an overtake, which will probably pass them kind of now. He'll probably be again waiting for the start of the lap again to see if he can mount an attack and catch back up. And then Ollie Gibson is just in the background as well, so he's closing in and thinking, right, okay, whilst you two keep battling and keep distracting each other, I can sneak up slowly but surely in the Hopposaurus.
Yeah, he will, won't he? He'll definitely try and get in on this. And I'll tell you what, Ollie Gibson's done real well here because he's not lost as much ground on Gabe Norse as he did in race 1, which was surprising because Gabe mentioned that he got tagged and got involved and fell back. So I might have expected, mind you, Ollie was involved in more battles, wasn't he, in race number 1? But yes, it's good stuff from Ollie Atkins as well, P2, not being left. Probably if there's something to enjoy here or something to make out of this for Ollie Atkins, it's to watch the championship leader, as I think he is now, negotiating this track. So this is going to be, I guess, a little bit of a learning experience for Ollie Atkins as well. But let's pick up on Andy Dorman in 5th place, Chris Blakey down behind him. Andy Dorman trying to keep tabs on Kieran Haynes in 4th place. At the moment, though, potentially 2 new drivers to be interviewed this evening on the podium. We've still got half the race remaining, so Gabe Norse has done very well to come through from his win, starting right at the very back. Andy Carroll and Jack Angel seem to be trading places at the back of the field as well. So I think those guys having a good race. Andy, in fact, now up into 10th. So just managed to get past Sam Gumbel again. Jack Angel down in 12th. And up in front of them, Mason Turner and Jacob Lander, as Andy Dorman tries to catch Kieran Haynes. Let's see whether Andy can bring the Turbo Smart car up into the mix again. I don't think we've had an interview with Andy Dorman. It's a very weird series, this one, in terms of he did get a couple of podiums. So maybe I think we maybe spoke to him at Spa. I can't remember if he got 3rd place as a result of judicials or whether he was there. I think we might have had a chat with him at Spa. But normally much more of a regular. I wonder if he's a bit more like Scott Bugner in terms of having the liking perhaps more for front wheel drive. Certainly no slouch in either configuration, to be perfectly honest. Neither is Ollie Gibson, who is there in P3. So Ollie's still trying to hunt down another Ollie Atkins immediately in front of him, and Gabe Norse, I'm guessing Gabe's got fastest, that 156.856 with that 15 kg ballast, so almost twice what Ollie Atkins has got, and similarly for Oliver Gibson. But Ollie running really well here in 3rd place, and it's unusual we don't get to do a podium interview with him, the lone Hop Cavern representative this evening. So it could be another podium. Kieran Haynes behind him. What's the gap going to be? 3 and 4 points. So it was down to 1. And he'll take another 3 points out here, Oliver Gibson. So the gap will go out to 4 points if it stays the way it is at the moment. And Kieran Haynes is a fair way behind. So I think that's probably the maths about right for 4th place in the championship right now.
Yeah, good kind of collection of points there for Ollie to kind of just a little bit of a buffer. Obviously, he'll probably want a bit more, so it'd be even better if he can overtake Ollie Atkins to just make that gap just maybe it's only a point extra, but every point counts, doesn't it? So he'll be hoping for that as we flash back to Mason Turner and Jacob Lander having a battle between the two of them, both against Swift Cooper, but I think they're in different coloured teams, but kind of under the same umbrella, so they'll probably be nice to each other, not go for any sort of silly moves, but just be having a good battle between the pair of them for eighth position.
Now, I spoke about the upcoming Porsche Championship, and of course these guys, Swift Cooper, very much part of our VRRC Super Classic Formula Ford 1600 eSports series that we did at the start of the year, and we do have another one coming back. It's going to run up towards the Formula Ford Festival. I think we're actually going to have a festival event as well, which is going to be like if you've never been to the Formula Ford Festival, it's basically a sort of a knockout competition. So we have normally like 4 heats, and then you have 2 semi-finals and the grand final. If you ever come down to Brands Hatch, there's a lot more Formula Ford racing as well, with the classic cars taking their own festival as well, so they get the chance to race for, like the pre-80 cars will get the chance to race for their own festival in memory of the former commentator Brian Jones, who sadly we lost during COVID. But it's a great meeting, and we're going to have a sort of a limited replication of that format, plus another Formula Ford series, which hopefully will introduce a few more drivers and maybe some more Swift Cooper folk as well. It's been great that they've really bought into this, not only doing that championship, but coming back and racing with us in the touring cars and now in the World Endurance League as well. So really grateful that they've come along with VRRC to get involved, as Ollie Gibson tries to close in on one of those Swift Cooper drivers in P2, Ollie Atkins. Ollie's done a good job here. Ollie Atkins has, as I mentioned earlier, had a brace of podiums earlier on, hasn't had a P2 yet, so he's not going to want to wave a white flag and allow Oliver Gibson through. So Oliver's going to have to work, Ollie Gibson's going to have to work for this P2.
Yeah, Ollie Atkins will want to hold on to this as much as he can and make sure he doesn't allow kind of like an easy overtake for Ollie Gibson here. So probably full defensive mode will be activated surely by now with how close Ollie Gibson is. So yeah, we'll hopefully, as they both go quite wide there, that's fine. Just as long as you don't get too many track limits, it's all good. But it did look like it just made Gibson's gap just close ever so slightly, so he looks like he's managed to gain a bit out of there, because I think he was the lesser one of kind of how wide he went in that corner, as he's poising himself kind of in the middle of the track again, just making sure he's been spotted in case he thinks he might not have been spotted already, and his like I say, his blue Hopposaurus. So yeah, just making sure the pressure's on, because again, we've mentioned it before, sometimes all you need is to just be that presence in the rear view mirror to cause that pressure, to cause a mistake from the driver up ahead, and it just makes it a little bit easier for you to get past.
Yeah, it's all about pressure, isn't it? It's, you know, when you can, and again, a lot of people say to me, oh, you know, race can be dull. I always hark back to Clio Cup back in the day, when there were quite a few races where, to be honest, the cars were just going round line astern, but they were every car that was behind another one was putting pressure on. The driver in front was soaking it up, and more importantly, they were matching each other lap after lap. That's the thing that you have to take away, is the superb, consistent performance and the fast performance for all the drivers. And that only really comes to life when somebody goes off. When you see somebody go off and they have a biggie, you think, flipping heck, they were really that close to the limit. And the limit is a big one when you see a car go off and they have an absolute a big accident. Here, with the rear-facing shots that Steve's giving us, you can get an idea of the virtual speeds that these cars are doing and what the drivers are having to deal with. And Ollie Atkins, you say, Becky, doing a really good job at the moment. Are we going to get a dinosaur bite? He's certainly trying to go for it. The teeth have been sharpened. He is ready to sink them in to Ollie Atkins and get that P2. Gabe North still a couple of seconds ahead, but maybe not as far ahead as I thought he might be in this one. This has been a good performance by the second and third, considering they're teasing with each other at the moment. So Gabe North maybe is he backing off a little bit? Is he taking this a little bit easier? I don't think that's in his vocabulary. Let's have a look at the lap times. North, 157.154. So he's still the fastest driver out of all of them on the last lap. The other two, Gibson did a 157.6, Ollie Atkins a 157.7. So Gibson slightly the faster driver on the last tour as we get into the last third of this race. Kieran Haynes still in fourth, with Andy Dorman fifth ahead of Chris Blakey. Christian Gillian seventh. Andy Carroll's made it up into the top 10, but as I said, you know, I did say how well he'd been doing, and that was the curse of the commentator, Becky, wasn't it? Saying that how well he'd done, but this is going to be his drop round with a result as low as 10. But he's still in the top 10 at the moment. That's the good thing for him.
Yeah, again, we were talking about pressure. Maybe the pressure of running the surfer as well got to him a little bit. Maybe something didn't quite go right, and he's had to check something. So hopefully all is good, and there wasn't any major incident that caused him to drop. And yeah, he'll probably hopefully rectify it for the next round. And I was going to say about, obviously you said about how much drivers push and when you see an off and stuff, but the onboard will show that as well, with how much they can fight a car into a corner, as Ollie Gibson looks like has done a nice overtake there, nicely ahead of Ollie Atkins, but he's still right on his bumper. So he's see if Ollie Gibson can pull away. And yeah, if Atkins will pose more of a threat as they continue on this lap, as they've been literally bumper to bumper the whole way for the last few laps. So we'll see if they'll continue that way, or yeah, if there'll be a gap made, or again, it's them timing it. It's like, well, we could keep doing this back and forth for the last remaining sort of 7.5 minutes, or do I just wait and literally go for an attack on the last lap so I can hold that position as we jump back to Mason Turner and Andy Carroll. So Andy's looking like he's eager to get another position made up after not a great sort of race 2 for him, with how well race 1 went for him. So yeah, it looks like he's going for the outside line, see if he's got enough grip to stick around or go for a little cutback as he go. Again, Mason closed the door nicely there. There was no sort of gap for Andy to get into. So Andy's just having to pause, rethink, and go for another attack on another corner. But it's amazing to see actually these drivers that are all over the track, and it's just not in a bad way, in like an out of control way, but they are using every inch of track to get that momentum. So it's not obviously sharp turns in. And it's paid off for Andy at the moment, even though it looked like, oh, well, you're using more tarmac, you're surely going to be slower. But yeah, just taking that line in and sweeping into that corner, he was able to go around the outside, and he's claimed that position now.
Yeah, it was a really well thought out move, wasn't it, by Andy Carroll? I was going to say the same about the Oliver Gibson move as well into P2. You know, we're watching VRRC drivers who know what they're doing, thinking ahead, working out where their car maybe has the a little bit more in reserve, or where their driving style has a little bit more in reserve over the driver in front. And Andy Carroll, just showing how sort of hard earned these passes are. He was saying in the interview after race one how difficult it was to pass here. I'm not saying he made it look difficult, but we saw that it was indeed hard work. As we watch Ollie Atkins trying to close in on Oliver Gibson again. So Gibson and Norse gap 3.3 seconds first to second at the moment. Gabe's still a comfortable way ahead, and one would say probably going to hang on to this one, barring any problems. He did have an issue last week, did Gabe? Because didn't he bin? Was it the first race or the second race? Binned it when he was in the. I think it might have been race 2 when he was in the lead, and Andy Carroll came through. And the one thing I love about Gabe is he was 100% honest about it, which a lot of drivers aren't, but he was.
Yeah, it's nice when you get race drivers not using race driver excuses and actually saying, no, I did something wrong there, and yeah, like you say, holding the hands up. Again, it's a sign of maturing and growing in the sport as well, and being able to take those as lessons forward, like you were saying about with like stewards' decisions, of maybe looking back and reflecting on it and thinking, right, okay, if I was in that position again, how would I do it differently to, one, obviously avoid a penalty, but also obviously not, damage somebody else's race or car and so on and so forth. And I think, again, it can be quite easy in the sim world to think, well, it's not real. I know I've mentioned it before, and again, yeah, you don't necessarily get the damage that you have to pay out for, but it still ruins somebody's race evening. So it's nice to get that real sort of penalty then, so people don't just kind of take it for granted and think, well, yeah, I can drive a bit like an idiot and take somebody off a track because there's no physical damage done to the car or the person. It's more kind of, well, that's not how we want to go racing. We still want fair, clean racing, like you want to see in the real world. So that's why, again, you get the stewards in, and like you say, Ian Danaher comes in and does an amazing job at doing it and keeping it fair. So there's no sort of people thinking they can get round rules or go for moves that you wouldn't do in the real world, because generally it's going to be dangerous.
I tell you what, Ian's got to be a glutton for punishment, hasn't he? Because I'm not sure, with the amount of stick that these clerks get at the track, and believe you me, they really do. I mean, commentary boxes are normally by the clerk's office, or you can go past the clerk, and you see people absolutely steaming, waiting to go in there. So how he, and football referees is another one, how they put themselves through that and then come and do some more for sim racing, I do not know. I guess he probably doesn't necessarily get the appeals here, the face-to-face appeals, and people looking him in the eye and being obnoxious. And there are some obnoxious ones. There's a particularly obnoxious driver in Formula E. I think we all know who I'm talking about. I've got to say, most of the drivers that I see on COTA generally don't, because I think a lot of the clerks, to be a clerk on the COTA package, you have to have reached a certain level and been consistent. I think therefore most of the drivers respect the clerks on the COTA package. You get the odd bit of grief. Here's Andy Carroll having a go, getting up to 8th place. Good recovery from Andy. The McLaren very clearly again working better in the later stages, and he's getting to grips with it. And this is kind of a bit of damage limitation, as the Aston's going to have another go and try and get him back. And he's on the inside for the next corner. So again, and Andy gets a tiniest of tags and spins it around on the recovery. And again, I think Mason sort of backed out of that to allow Andy to recover, but Andy couldn't quite get it back. So Mason back in front. But fair play to Mason Turner for allowing the time to get back through. I was going on about Clark's, wasn't I? So the COTA guys, very well respected, and by and large everybody on the touring car package respects that and respects the fact that the guys have got to that level. And you don't hear too much moaning about the clerks on that. Club level probably you do, because I think sometimes they tend to swap clerks over. But I guess what I'm leading up to saying is thank you to Ian Danaher for putting yourself under even more pressure and coming and helping the VRRC out, as we watch Ollie Atkins trying his hardest to close in on Oliver Gibson. It's going to be a podium, though, for Ollie Atkins here. And had a podium last time, so he's becoming a little bit of a regular on the podium again, is Ollie Atkins. Kieran Haynes trying to close them down and close in on those 4th place championship points. But 1 minute 26 to go. Gabe Norse is heading on the sort of back straight part now. She's got about half a lap to go, so I reckon we'll squeeze another lap after this one. It's coming into the anti-penultimate turn at the moment, with Ollie Gibson still busy chasing him, so I reckon we've got another lap and a half to go. But Gabe Norse, 3.2 seconds clear. Second and third, though, Becky, have held their own well here in this one, not lost out too much.
Yeah, Matterman away amongst themselves, so but yeah, seems like they might have kind of calmed down a little bit now, with only 50 seconds left to go. But yeah, some good battling between them, so we'll see if that resumes into the next race of the sprint. So again, a lot less time to make moves. So it's, again, desperate's not necessarily the word, but you don't have the luxury of time of thinking, okay, well, yeah, I've got 30 minutes to be able to make a kind of plan of action. It's a lot more kind of like, right, I've got to make moves now, make a decision on what my attack's going to be, and make my way forward in the sprint race. So it's a nice little dynamic that we've got. Again, it doesn't sound like a huge difference, but I suppose, yeah, it does make a massive difference in that sense. And then again, they'll change fuel loads and stuff. So again, with like Andy Carroll and his McLaren, if he can obviously drop his fuel load and start off on a lesser fuel load, then obviously he would do in the 30-minute and then kind of make inroads. But I'm sure he said again last, or one of the drivers, I don't know if it was Andy Carroll or it might have been Kieran Haynes in the last round's interviews, there was actually it was the longer race format worked better. Because again, it allowed the tyres to come into play as well, and the fuel drop in. It didn't quite work with just having a lower fuel level and just going for it. There wasn't that time to kind of get everything where it needed to be, and that perfect moment for the car to perform at its best.
I don't know if you saw that, Andy Carroll got the fastest lap, popped up on screen there, so he's up into 9th place, but with the fastest lap, as we watch Jacob Lander with Sam Gumbley into the top 10. 6th to 10th then for Sam Gumbley in this one so far. But Gabe Norse is on the last tour and coming up into the last but one corner at Bahrain. And I would say odds on at the moment to make it a second hat-trick. He did it at Spa, was our drive through the round there. It looks like he's going to possibly do the same thing again. The others will certainly have something to say about it, and we never ever know how it's going to pan out. But he negotiates, as we would expect, very safely the last corner, powers his way out. He's going to buzz the pit wall, I'm sure, as the virtual checker awaits the driver who makes it 2 out of 2 here at Bahrain. And we do get the victory weave from Gabe Norse. 2 out of 2. Oliver Gibson through into P2. Nice to see Oliver Gibson on the podium. And another new name for this evening, Ollie Atkins, completes the top 3. So good drive by all 3 of our podium finishers. Kieran Haynes, good points again in 4th. Andy Dorman will take 5th place. Again, strong evening's work from Andy so far. Same with Chris Blakey, who takes 6th position. Christian Gillian about to go through the last corner for 7th. So here comes Christian for 7th. It's Mason Turner in 8th at the moment, ahead of Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll still with the fastest lap. And I tell you what, I'm going to take my hat off to Gabe Norse for saying he recognised in race 1 how much end of race pace Andy Carroll had. And there's the proof there. Penultimate lap of the race, fastest lap for Andy Carroll. Finishes in 9th place, Sam Gumbley 10th, 11th Jacob Lander, and 12th place Jack Angel, which completes our hot dozen racers here at Bahrain, and we'll have our podium interviews in a couple of minutes. Great to see the Super Classic Formula. I really miss seeing Formula 4. I can't wait for the Virtual Championship and greatly looking forward to the festival as well. I've got to say that the Super Classic's very definitely one championship that when they have their rounds, I do have make sure that I'm not too far away from TSL to see who's doing what on those over the course of the championship. But yeah, really looking forward to that coming back. And one of the men that joined us through Formula Ford Championship was Ollie Atkins. So Ollie, great to have you up on the podium. Cracking race, mate. Just couldn't fend off Ollie Gibson. But nonetheless, a podium. Great to be talking to you on the podium again. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Not many do that. I appreciate that. Yeah, good drive. Podium finish good. But Ollie Gibson just managed to get past you. You stayed with him, and both of you were really not really losing touch with Gabe either.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of trying to be as sensible as possible with my racing because I knew that those two were much quicker than me. So I didn't battle them too much because I wanted to lose like as little time as possible. So yeah, I think I probably could have tried to defend Ollie a bit, but then I was worried about falling into the clutches of Kieran that was behind us. So yeah, I tried to stay relaxed.
And you got back up into 6th position of the championship ahead of Andy Dorman and the likes of Chris Blakey, so it's very close between you guys. So you're back into the top 6 after last week. I can't remember why we missed you at COTA. Were you away? Were you poorly studying, or?
It's a bit of a funny story actually. I just didn't do what I was supposed to do with my homework, and so,
Who imposed the penalty?
Yeah, that's why I was there for COTA. But,
oh really?
Yeah.
So was that who was that? Parents, was it, or?
Yeah, it's just being an idiot really. I've got focus. But yeah, to be honest, this track it's not really for me. I'd say.
Me too, mate. Me too.
I'm not a big fan of the track. And like during testing, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this because it was like really bumpy on the steering wheel.
Right.
But yeah, obviously, not so bad then because you got P3.
No, you've done really well. It's always good to get to chat to you on the podium. So well done on that. Are you going to a bit of a leading question? I don't want to put you under any pressure, but will you be taking part in the? I don't think we've announced dates or anything yet, but we're hoping to do another Formula Ford Championship. So I'm guessing you guys that are with Swift Cooper will be part of that. I hope.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's just if I'm allowed to do it, but yeah. Hopefully I'll be doing it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Any plans for what's your strategy for race 3?
I don't really have a strategy, to be honest. I'm just gonna see where the race takes me and just take everything as it comes. If I get another podium, great, but I'm not really expecting to get a podium. But I'll just try to do my best and see where I can go in this final race.
Excellent. Well done on the podium. Great to catch up with you, Ollie. Well done, and good luck for race 3.
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure. Ollie Atkins in P3. P2 interview, over to Becky once again.
Thank you very much. And P2, we've got Ollie Gibson. So congratulations on P2. You're flying solo for the Hop Cavern this evening. Just talk me through your evening so far. How was your first race, and then obviously this one with your P2?
It's been all right. Just not really enjoying the track, like Ollie said. It's just not for me. And then I don't know what's going on with the car. It's just I had it on lower wing in practice, and then it was sliding a bit too much. I was like, I'd rather stay in the race and go out by myself. So I put a bit more wing on, and now I've got no straight lines. So no, I'm making do. But yeah, no, the results are good. It's just I wish I had a bit more pace and ability to fight more and defend more. So yeah, that's the only thing. But no, I've enjoyed it tonight. It's it's been clean, and I haven't got taken out, so it's always a plus.
It's always a bonus, but it seems to be Bahrain's definitely the killer of the BMW's straight line speed, it seems, because I think we've had a few drivers complain about that, and again the momentum. So maybe we need to start a petition to not bring Bahrain back, because nobody seems to have enjoyed it this evening. But we've all been putting in good performances, so and some good battles, and yeah, some good overtakes and swaps back and forth between you and Ollie in that race. So more of the same hopefully next race, but hopefully a win.
That'd be nice. I'd rather just get past him and go down the road, to be honest. But no, he's since he joined, he's improved so much, and yeah, it was a great battle as well, and nice and clean. That's always nice. So yeah, I mean, that is the plan for race 3 to win, but we'll see. I mean, I haven't been too lucky this series with starts and just throughout the race, so we'll see. Maybe for a change, I'll do well. But
hopefully,
honestly...
then it will swing back the other way, and surely the luck should be on your side for this time. So yeah, clean start, good start, and off you go.
Yeah, that's the plan. I might have to go see someone to sort my karma out or something like that. I have no idea. But to be fair, I'd rather me do bad in this and then England win the World Cup. Would be nice. I'd trade that, I think.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I must actually flash back to kind of your interview a few weeks ago with your little rap, because that was that was beautiful. That I'm a little bit upset I wasn't there live in the moment, because yeah, that was brilliant. So yeah, thank you for that. That gave me a lot of enjoyment. So, but yeah, I'll let you get nice and chilled, ready for the next race, and yeah, wish you all the best, and hopefully, yeah, like you say, clean start, and yeah, good start, and hopefully you'll be off down the road.
Hopefully, I'm going to listen to it for a bit of hyping up.
Bit of momentum, yeah, do
exactly.
it.
Thanks, Ollie. Thanks, Becky. I tell you what, that was a good thing. And any youngsters, here's a bit of free media training for you. Have a line, like Ollie did. If you quote a bit of rap or something, it just gets you remembered. It was really good what Ollie did that time. So do that. Something else that was really good was Gabe Norse getting a double here at Bahrain. Gabe, well done. Another race. And I said during that one, I think we'd be a bit silly if we were going to bet against you getting the hat trick, second hat trick of the series. But anyway, let's go back to basics. Well done on the win. Straightforward, or was that harder work?
That one's a little bit harder. I mean, Ollie was actually a lot quicker than I thought he would be, which was quite good to see. And yeah, I mean, once I got past most people, I was just hunting him down until I managed to get past him and then down the road, luckily.
Yeah, another win to add in. I don't suppose you've worked out points, either of you, but I haven't done. I can't work out who's dropped. The thing is, though, that because you've done all the rounds, you get spanked more on the points, don't you, on the drops?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying because I've been a little bit more consistent. Now I'm getting a bit done in by that.
It's the same in the real world, and I get why we have it in this, because we've got a lot of people that work and people taking unnecessary holidays, which I disagree with. But I kind of get it. But it's almost like we should make sure that we credit the people that win with the most points. We had it in Janetta Juniors, actually. I think that you won't remember it. I think was it the year Jamie Caroline won the. You're probably aware of Jamie Caroline, but I think the year Jamie won it, he was tied on points with Senna Proctor, and everyone forgets about Senna Proctor, but he had the same points total at the end of the year as Jamie Caroline, but he never got any credit for it. And then the next couple of rounds when we were commentating on him, and I always said, Senna was equal top points with Jamie, and Senna's a handy little peddler. I hope we're going to get to see him in the touring cars. But I remember his dad coming up and saying, "Oh, thanks for pointing that out," because nobody ever remembered. But I think it was important, and I particularly with Janetta's and anything on total package, there should not be drop scores because it's that important. But as I say, Sim's slightly different. Anyway, I'm wittering on, and I shouldn't be. I should be talking about you. Pole position, obviously, for race 3, so it's down to a start and getting away again.
Yeah, hopefully I can just make a lot of ground up at the start and hopefully just get away from everyone, but it's not usually that straightforward, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
It has been a little bit cleaner, hasn't it, this evening? And that's either because we've got less cars on track or because we've got rid of the people that are causing the damage.
Yeah, I think equally I've been a little bit cleaner as well.
Top man, well done, Gabe. That's really well done. I'm only saying it in a tongue-in-cheek way because there's a few people that are not here, and they know I'm only having a little bit of a joke as well. But nice one. Anyway, well done on another win, 2 out of 2, and hopefully we'll have a chat with you after race 3 as well.
Thank you very much, Rich.
Cheers, Gabe. Thanks for the laugh as well, mate. Appreciate that. Really good stuff. Gabe Norse, our winner. Oliver Gibson in P2. Ollie Atkins in 3rd place. And yeah, always a pleasure to chat to our podium finishers at VRRC. As we look forward to race 3. Just a 15-minute race, as Becky mentioned earlier on. And works well, shorter race with the fastest guys off the front. And I mentioned the word guys. We need some females out here on track, Becky. What can we do to get females into sims?
Buy them for them. I'm not too sure. Yeah, just give them to loads of girls. Just go and be like, do you want this? Just give it a go. And they're bound to get hooked. It's very addictive. I'm still not quite brave enough to enter myself in. Maybe one day.
Do it under pseudonym. You could do it under
yeah, I might have to. I do actually have a pseudonym, so I might have to bring that back out from my old gaming days.
I was going to ask
so...
you what your pseudonym was, but that would sort of kill the point, really.
That kind of that defeats the point, doesn't it? So yeah, I'll keep that hush. If you probably stalk enough, you'd manage to find it somewhere. It was actually, funnily enough, it was a Hobbit name generator. That I put my name into, and it came up with quite a nice name. So I was like, "You'll use that." Used to actually be my YouTube name, but I've reverted back to being me, and not hiding as much. But yeah, we might have to. That's a good idea. That's a good shout. But then I think it'll give it away all of a sudden. This random girl joins the grid. They'll be like, "It's Becky."
So are you a Lord of the Ringer on the quiet?
A little bit, yeah. And it only took me 11 years.
They're making a film, aren't they? Another one.
Yes, they are. Yes. So yeah, that'll be good. Only took me 11 years to convince my other half to watch any of it, and now he's absolutely obsessed.
Oh, is he? I've never managed to stay awake through one yet, and I'm not being facetious.
Break it into a few, like an hour slots.
Oh, like a mini. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Full of them.
Full of all that, yeah. Yeah, first time we tried to watch it was on honeymoon, believe it or not. Anyway, here we go. We'll come back to that another time. Gabe Lawrence is away, and down the road already at the start of race 3. Oliver Gibson into P2. Are we going to have a race between these two? Gibson comes out wide to go down the halfway round turn 1. Try and carry the speed through the corner. It keeps him close to Gabe Lawrence as they go into turn 2. Kieran Haynes in 3rd. Ollie Atkins in 4th. Now, watch for Andy Carroll trying to power his way up as well. Carroll's up into 4th. So great stuff by the McLaren, but he's got Andy Dorman all over him as well. But Gabe Norris has made the start that he wanted to with Kieran Haynes in P2. And so just looking at the time. What happened to Ollie Gibson there? I totally missed what happened to Ollie. But he had a decent enough start, but was he bundled? Did you see, Becky?
No, he was out of shot at that point, and then all of a sudden Kieran's obviously jumped up and passed him. So I don't know if there was contact. I don't have the timing screen up because I've closed it off my computer because my computer is having a mare. So I'm like, let's keep it just focused on the stream so I know what's happening. So I don't know if, again, cold tyres is always a challenge at the start of a race, and obviously you tend to push quite hard at the start of it, which doesn't go well with the cold tyres. So maybe it was a bit of that. Don't want to speculate and say there was contact. It was obviously very close into that first corner, and he was lucky to obviously not get caught by Kieran Haynes's bumper going into that first corner. So that was nicely done, but yeah, not too sure what played out after that. So unfortunate for Ollie Gibson, because obviously we were bigging it up to be like, right, clean start, get it done, and then push on. But there's still time to make moves. He's still in the top 10 at the moment. Took a little bit. I don't know if, again, it just looked like he kind of went off. I don't know if there was a spin involved, but he was just kind of saw him kind of trundling off track. So hopefully, yeah, nothing too major, and he can, make some moves up and get himself back up. But yeah, probably a little bit disheartening for the start of the final race.
Yeah, he was saying he hasn't had the rub of the green in this series, and he's probably going to be down, if he doesn't make too many more places out, he's going to be down in 5th. In the championship. Kieran Haynes is going to be ahead of him. Making moves as well here is Andy Carroll, who's trying to slot down and get up onto the podium again. We're going to get a double podium from Andy Carroll. I remember when Andy got his first double podium, or his first podium of this series, which was, his second event. And then we were getting excited because he has a double podium. And now it's unusual not to see him on the podium in all 3, but 2 out of 3 could be the best he could hope for here. And he's having a race with Ollie Atkins. Ollie was very open, honest, and about his racing, but Ollie's done a grand job this evening, I think, and battling it out for the podium. We've got Andy Dorman right behind them as well. And here is the view from Ollie Atkins, and there's the McLaren having a real good go down the inside, the Aston Martin of Andy Dorman looking around the outside as well and trying to get involved. So Andy Carroll's got a multitask here. He's attacking, he's defending, he's trying to look after the server at the same time, and goes a little bit wide, and Andy Dorman tries to squeeze up as they come up to the end of the lap and go side by side, but Andy Carroll's got the inside run down into turn 1 covered. but Andy Dorman's going to have a go and go for the burnout. It wasn't the turn one, was it? They make a little bit of contact and Andy Carroll loses out one place, maybe two. He's down to 5th, so it's Chris Blakey up ahead of him as well now. Gabe Norse 0.8 of a second clear of Kieran Haynes, and yeah, that was just a little bit of close racing between the pair of them, and to me showed how twitchy that McLaren can get.
Yeah, a little bit of an unsettle for both cars, obviously with that bit of contact and a nice long drift around that corner, which definitely wasn't the optimum way of going around there. And yeah, unfortunately, probably if they did it a little bit, you might have been able to keep the momentum, but they're still staying close to each other. It's like, just have a little bit of a space between you guys, like, let's not do it again. Yeah, it's probably not going to end as well the next time it probably happens, but they're battling away hard with the two Andys. They're wanting to again put themselves forward as the best of the rest, even though we have got Chris Blakey ahead as well in the other Aston Martin. But yeah, they're battling away. Maybe to be the best Andy then, as I suppose, can be their fight for this race. As they, like I say, we have got another Aston up the road, just ahead of them. But yeah, battling close, and they've not been put off by that contact, which I suppose is nice, that it's not kind of making them think, well, I'm not going to go for it anymore. I'm going to just sit back and relax and not go for any of these moves. So it's good to see them still kind of going for the kind of close racing moves, even after maybe potentially causing a huge off.
Yeah, I mean, they do know each other. I mean, it's the point that Andy Carroll made on the podium, 3rd place in race 1, that he knows most of these drivers from days of old, or he's been racing with them every Tuesday or Thursday or whatever it was back in the day for quite a long time. So he knows how a lot of the drivers are going to react and go. So the side-by-side stuff is not new to him, particularly with the likes of Andy Dorman and Chris Blakey, because they've been at it for quite a while. Two of the newer drivers, Mason Turner, we're on board with, and Christian Gillian up in front of him. Christian, one of our overseas drivers as well. I don't mention that too often as well. If you've got folk that you know overseas that want to join in and race with us at VRRC, you can do that as well. We were thinking about Legends-wise, trying to get some of the American Legends drivers online, but I think there might have been some server complications that might come into play, but certainly European drivers, no problem at all coming in. So if you've got any friends over in Europe that you know from wherever, get them involved, and let's see if we can work towards having some European challenges at some point. Talking of challenges, here comes Mr. Carroll having a look down the inside of Andy Dorman, and he's going to have the line going down into turn 1, get the position back, but he's got to get past the black and gold machine to get him back to where he was earlier on. But Andy Dorman's having none of it, and he's fighting back. He's not laying down, he's not rolling over, and he's not having his tummy tickled at all, is he? He's fighting every inch for that place, and has got the inside run for the next corner as well.
Yeah, they're battling away, these two. So, like I say, it's good to see that they've not been put off by that little bit of contact, and they're like, okay, well, let's just keep going for it. Keep probably swapping positions back and forth. A good race between the two of them. Probably both, like you say, enjoying it. Used to racing against each other, so again, probably know all their little tricks and kind of ways of making moves happen. So it kind of makes it a bit more challenging, because you're a bit more expectant of what your opponent's going to do, but it depends if they start trying to mix it up. But Andy Carroll's kind of pushing forward now and is going for the attack on Chris Blakey now as well. So Andy Dorman might be thinking, right, okay, well, I'll let him go and attack him, and then I can pick up any pieces if anything happens. As just behind them as well, Mason Turner's just overtaken Christian Gillian. You saw him just pop it into the inside, but it's gone for the wider line out. So Christian's coming back for the attack to try to reclaim that position. A little bit of a contact there, but nothing major happening as a result of that. So they'll keep battling on.
They will. The thing is, although we're a couple of drivers short, there's still plenty to look at and lots of things of interest right the way down the field. Now, we did have Paul Laramie earlier on this evening, didn't we? I'm pretty sure. Did we have Paul Laramie for race 1? But he's not out there now, is he? I'm looking at the timing screen. Oliver Gibson has retired to the pits. This will be one of Ollie's drop rounds, so that will give him, I think, will not give him, but earn him 4th place in the championship back, because this will be a drop score. So he'll go back to where he was, as down the inside of Chris Blakey goes Andy Carroll. Carroll back up into 4th. Remember, was challenging for a podium, but he's now got to try and close down those 3 seconds or so on Ollie Atkins in third. Atkins would dearly love to get another podium. So too would Andy Carroll, but Atkins here, that will help his confidence. I love the fact, I don't love the fact that we missed him, but you know, fair play to those who need to be obeyed for saying you can't race because you didn't do your homework. I remember those days, Becky.
I don't remember my days of that. That's my memory is dreadful. But yeah, no, it's good to again give it as a kind of reward of obviously do what you're meant to. Don't just throw schoolwork away. It's a very good, yeah, probably a mentality to have. So yeah, good that's been like enforced on him. And so it's not just all kind of fun and games.
Yeah, I love the fact that he respected it as well, didn't he? In what he was saying, he was fully respecting it as well, which I love. Fair play to him. Good
no sneaking on. I suppose it's probably quite difficult to sneak onto the sim, isn't it, with some of the noise, especially from the force feedback and stuff. Yeah, you can't really muffle that much, I don't think.
No, but also the fact that he acknowledged it on air. I mean, a lot of youngsters wouldn't even come out and own up on air to it, but you know, he fully embraced it, and I just say, what a great young man. Superb that he told us about that. So yeah, fair play to him.
It'll be the last time he'll ever not do it. So lesson learned.
Well, it is how you learn, isn't it, through stuff like that. So you know, fair play to him. Kieran Haynes is learning though, isn't he? He's keeping Gabe Norse honest here. Whether we're going to get a battle or not, we've only got 5 minutes left, and these I know they're shorter races, but relatively go a lot quicker for the time involved. Norse has got away 1.1 seconds over Kieran Haynes in P2. So it looks like you might be getting another chat with Kieran after this one. I'll be getting another chat with Gabe. We might have to shake things up on the interviews. We'll see how it goes. And we need to think about driver of the round as well. I don't think too many people that we can consider it for this evening. It was a really good effort by Sam Gumbley in race 1, but I'm going to put it out there and say, you know, again, if it's a triple, it might have to be Gabe Norse again. He's had one this year, or this campaign. So it might well be Gabe. Is it going to be Andy Carroll? If Andy Carroll gets a podium, he might put his name in the frame as well, recovering well from whatever happened in race 2. But yeah, Andy's still got some work to do to close down on Ollie Atkins, isn't he?
Yeah, but I suppose we probably don't have the same amount of time left like we did in the last race, where he all of a sudden seemed to just close the 6-second gap fairly quickly. And yeah, push on and get obviously fastest laps as well, Andy Carroll. So it would be a mighty task to get that gap closed down, unless something major happens with Ollie Atkins up ahead. But never say never. Anything can happen in these races. But yeah, difficult one for driver of the round, because yeah, we've had probably a proper mix of kind of performances for everybody, and kind of maybe not lucky, but obviously done well in one race and then not so well in the next one, or again the luck's kind of ran out on things. So yeah, difficult one there. So if anybody in YouTube who's watching has any suggestions, we always like to know what people are thinking as well from watching, what's been entertaining for them watching along at home.
Well, Becky will have to watch that because I haven't got YouTube open. So
and I just need to say this as well. We've had I'm assuming it's Ollie Atkins' mum, Nikki, come onto the chat. They made him watch the race as well. So because he's not taking part in it, he has to sit and watch it as well. I love that. Absolutely love that. Can we make Nikki driver of the round?
I'm not sure I like the fact that someone sat down and made their child listen to my commentary as punishment. That is not very flattering. I won't
be the last, like I say, be the last time he'll do it.
For sure. A good line for me to take away from this evening. We're into the last 2 laps, lap and a half to go. Gabe Norse out front from Kieran Haynes, who is really trying to reel him in. He's got a little bit closer since we last did the time check on it. So Kieran is trying to give Gabe a run for his money. He's giving Gabe a run for his money. Make no mistake about that as they come up to the infield hairpin, if you want to call it that. I'm no expert on the Bahrain circuit at all. I think this is the first or only second time that I've called an event here. Certainly never watched a GP through in its entirety on this track either. But the race leaders doing a cracking job, those two. And what we got left on the clock, 1 minute 58. So yeah, we will be. This is the last but one lap. Ollie Atkins still in a good, strong 3rd place. Andy Carroll in 4th. Andy Dorman 5th. Chris Blakey in 6th place. And It is, I think, as we probably predicted at the moment, looking like the Gabe Norse hat-trick, but not as straightforward as we first thought it was going to be.
No, but yeah, Kieran is looking again very very eager to close this gap on. It's obviously it's less than a second now, which is good to see. Gabe's not managed to just completely pull away, but I think they've both kind of said, well, actually, I don't think Gabe said about the kind of straight line speed. If he was struggling, probably keeping that under wraps a little bit. So whether he's got a little bit of a difference on his setup, that's allowing him to feel like he's getting a bit more momentum on that straight. But it's not evident when we're looking at it. It's not like he's pulling away in those straight line moments. So yeah, it might be boding well for Kieran, thinking, right, okay, he's not escaping me. He's not gone off down the road like we normally see quite often from Gabe. And again, Gabe will just be hoping he can make it a hat trick, like we say, make it the third win of the evening. And again, that puts him probably in good stead for driver of the round once again for a pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, he's been very good this evening. He's had a strong evening last time out, and he's done it again. We've seen him do hat tricks before. But yeah, Kieran Haynes, I mean, Kieran's had, 2 seconds and a fourth. Kieran was driver of the round at Losail, so we should probably mention him in dispatches as well, perhaps for driver of the round. But it's always difficult to argue against a three-time winner who's coming through on the reverse grids as well. But yeah, superb stuff from both of these two out front, Gabe Norse and Kieran Haynes. Really, really good stuff. Only 2 more corners to go exiting this one. 1 more corner to go for Gabe Norse, who looks like he's got the gap's come down to less than half a second now. So coming down to the last corner, and Becky, I'll let you take him to the flag.
Yeah, it looks like we might be. Oh no, it's Ollie looking like he's going to go for maybe a last moment move, but not quite close enough. So yeah, as we welcome Gabe over the line for his the final win of this evening, a third one for Gabe, with Kieran coming over in second, very very close behind. So again, one of those, if we had a few more laps, wonder how that would have turned out. Ollie Atkins coming in the P3 and Andy Carroll in P4. Another good performance from Andy Carroll there. Andy Dorman B5 with Chris Blake coming in, and then we've got Mason Turner, Christian Gillian just crossing the line now in his very bright yellow and black car. Jack Angel, sorry, see, I'm reverting back to round 1 already, flashing back. But yeah, Jack Angel in P9 with Sam Gumbley back up into his top 10, and Jacob Lander finishing our races for this evening in P11. So we seem to have lost a couple, and what a lovely shot that is, all driving nicely and kind of like handing of each other, probably waving to each other in their rooms just across, pretending they're obviously on track together. So yeah, nice clean race to end the evening with.
Yeah, hopefully Ian Danaher's going to have a quiet session with Rich Haynes. It's going to be later on, I think, the judicials this week, with Rich being away. So I think we may be looking at the weekend for the judicials, but there hasn't been as many, I don't think, this evening, so it should be a quieter time, which has worked out very well. Thanks, Becky, for taking us to the flag and running through the results. We'll be back with our podium interviews and a formal announcement of Drive the Round in just a moment.
I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and Helen was always there, supporting me through everything. Today, we're facing a new challenge. Helen has been diagnosed with a terrible disease. Dementia is nothing less than a worldwide epidemic. Formula One moves fast. By contrast, medical research can be painfully slow. We want to bring some of our Formula One technology into the laboratories. Our charity, Race Against Dementia, will help to accelerate the pace of dementia research. Let's beat dementia together.
So, final podium of our penultimate event of the series. We've only got one more podium left after this, because next time is a one-race affair, which I'd completely forgotten about. But we'll get on to the third step of the podium, and it's a case of deja vu from race 2, because it's another third place for Ollie Atkins. Ollie, super job, mate. Well done. I know we don't like the track, and you didn't have high expectations for yourself, but 2 podiums is a good way to wrap things up here in Bahrain, yeah?
Yeah, I think that went reasonably well. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to be third. I thought I'd probably be like maybe 5th or 6th, but out of nowhere, I found about 5/10 of pace alone just by tinkering with the setup, and I just found 5/10, and I all of a sudden like gained pace.
Oh, I lost you momentarily there. I was going to say, really good. Great to get your first double podium, I think, of the campaign. So, you know, hopefully that will carry forward to next week. Have you done much testing on Le Mans?
I mean, I haven't like done like lots of testing, but I know roughly where the track goes, which is always something that can help. But also just having to look online for like setups and stuff, because I get really confused. Normally, I have Jack Smith, who gives me coaching sessions, and he helps me with my racecraft. So I think that's why I'm here. Basically, that's why I'm on this podium.
Yeah.
So, yeah, big shout out to Jack if he's watching. Thank you, Jack.
That's a sort of bit of a shout for his coach. He normally gives himself a shout out for coaching, but you've done it for him this week. And you're looking forward to the future. Are we going to have an Ollie Atkins coaching school?
I don't know. I don't think I'll. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, still mega pleased with how today's gone, and it couldn't have gone any better. If I'm being honest.
That's fair enough. Well, so it's good for us. Great to get to chat to you a couple of times. So well done on the double podium. Have a good week. Not much studies left now, is there, before some holiday?
No, I've got 1 week. So next week on Wednesday is when I'm all finished. So.
Is school the same? I was going to ask if school was the same as when I'm talking like years and years and years and years ago, but the last couple of weeks we never did anything. Is it much the same now, or do they actually make you work now the last couple of weeks?
I mean, we don't do much. Obviously, in some classes we do some work, but like it's not always like we don't always do like proper serious classwork unless we've already started our course. So yeah. Obviously, we still do stuff, so it's yeah.
That's fair enough. I'll let you off that. I won't talk any more about school. You've been lumbered tonight, haven't you, talking about education, homework and school, so you've had more than enough of that. And what we should be saying is well done on 2 podiums, Ollie. So have a good week. Look forward to seeing you at Le Mans next week.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Very well done. And Becky, I think, is going to look after P2 for us once again.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kieran Haynes in his P2 spot again of having to chat to me. But yeah, congratulations on your 2nd position of the night as well. And also, it looked like you were very close to Gabe. He didn't disappear off up the road. So was it a case of another few laps? Do you reckon you would have been able to take the fight to him?
Probably, yeah. I think if there's like one more lap left, I think I would have tried to move. But at the last lap there, I kind of just switched on, and I randomly just found pace. I don't know if that's because of the setup change or just because it was less gas in the car, but I just randomly found like 5/10, but it was good.
Yeah, good to be able to see you up there, and yeah, close to battling for the lead as well. For another win of the championship, that would have been good. But hopefully we'll see you up there again for the next next race, what's your, again, not giving too much away, have you got a strategy in mind for Le Mans, or are you just going to do some practice and then lay it out?
I would say I do have a strategy, and I was not to go in towards the pit lane like last time, but I think we have to pit this time. So yeah, but I know me and Ollie are P2 in a team championship, and not far off Jack and Oliver. So I think if we can gain a P1 in this last race, I think that'll be very good for Swift Cooper and everybody else in the team.
Oh, I love it. A bit of fighting talk, all to play for then for team standings next week then.
Yeah. If I have to hold anyone up and let Ollie pass, then I guess that's how I gotta play it.
I love it. Already thinking about the strategy and how you're gonna play it out as teammates as well. So I look forward to seeing how that goes. Obviously, I'll be in comms box next week as well, so be able to call the action live as well. So I'll be keeping an eye out for it. But congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be able to see shortly where that leaves everything with the drivers standing as well, because I'm sure you've jumped up a little bit.
Yeah, I've jumped up into P3 and only a couple points behind Jack. So if he has another bad race, I think that's gonna be my P2.
Claiming it already. I love it, Kieran. So congratulations again. Go get some practice laps in.
Thank you very much.
It's great to hear. Thank you, Becky. Thanks, Kieran. Very well done. Really lovely to know you got your finger on the pulse of the points and the team points. So plenty to play for next week. And yeah, probably not a secret to know that the new championship leader is Gabe Norse this evening with 3 straight wins. Gabe, we have to give you driver of the round again. We did last time you got 3 wins. So I'm not saying we're going to do it every time you get a hat trick, because nobody else would probably get a look in. But very well done on 3 out of 3. And yeah, Kieran made a go of it, didn't he, in the third one as well?
Yeah, he was a lot quicker than I expected in the last one, and yeah, I think like you were saying, if there was another lap or two, then he probably would have been able to put a move on me. But yeah, it was a decent last race. I managed to just stay in front at the start. I saw that Ollie Gibson had some sort of airplane crash behind me, which was interesting.
What do you mean?
He went up into the air and then hit the barrier.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely interesting to see behind me.
Yeah, he retired from that. I thought it was going to bring him into play more on the drop scores, and Steve will bring the points up at the end of it, but it actually didn't do him any favours at the end. But I thought drop scores wise it might. But yeah, you've sort of powered into a good lead. And potentially a double VRRC champion on the bounce as well here. So not too shabby, mate.
Yeah, it's not going too bad at the moment. Just managing to actually keep up with a lot of other people and get ahead of them.
Well, yeah, more than that, I think. What about Le Mans? Is that somewhere? Obviously, I asked the question of Ollie Atkins. Is it somewhere you've raced in other series before and practiced on before? Because it looks to me like a different sort of lap and a different sort of vibe.
Yeah, I've done it before in GT3s on a Assetto Corsa, but I've not really had the best of luck there. It's kind of a bit like what happened with Fuji in another championship. But yeah, it's quite a fun track in this car, and I haven't really done any practice so far, but it should just be a good race, and hopefully with everyone else having to do a pit stop, I might not mess up my strategy again.
Hopefully not. Yeah, I don't think any of us knew how that was going to wind up. I know last time I think we did World Endurance League, they had to have stopped. Certainly some of the endurance ones that I've done in the past with the club have been that way. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. But cracking week, I always say weekend, cracking evening again, Gabe. Very well done, mate. Yeah, thanks for some great driving and chatting to us as well. The triple winner, driver of the round. Have a good week, and we look forward to seeing you for the grand finale next Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rich.
Thanks, Gabe. Very well done again. Gabe Norse, treble winner, driver of the round, championship leader as well. I think here's look at that. Steve delivers on time to show us the championship table. 629 points. Jack Smith in P2. So a little bit of a gap developing now between those two. Kieran Haynes up into third with a little bit of breathing space over Andy Carroll, who is in fourth place. So yeah, the points we were talking about fourth position for Ollie Gibson. Yeah, so Ollie down to fifth. Kieran Haynes up into third, so that's what we were looking at, and Ollie Atkins up into sixth. A lot of work for Ollie to do next week to try and get ahead of Ollie Atkins to get ahead of Oliver Gibson. But yeah, loads of scenarios to play out. Need to get the team points sussed out as well, Becky. But it should be a good finale that we're looking forward to. Yeah,
like I said earlier, all to play for, so it'll be hopefully nice and exciting. Hopefully have all the key players back in next week as well, with obviously holidays being taken. Hopefully everybody will have a nice, a fuller grid for next week as well. Hopefully everybody's managed to schedule everything around it, so fingers crossed. But looking forward to actually being able to watch the full 60 minutes of action.
Yep, and if you are at school, make sure you do your homework so you don't have to listen to me next week, and that you can actually take part. That's the key thing to do. A little bit of a flag up, heads up for our next series, which, as you can see, starts excuse me, on the 4th of August at Brands Hatch, so not that long away. What do we get, 1 week off, I think, maybe? So the Porsche 2 Class Championship, Class 1 992 GT3 Cup car, and the Class 2 718. I'm not sure where we are on who's racing what yet, but I've certainly had some people chat to me being interested in coming along and doing it. So spread the word, and if you've got other people, as I say, that might want to be first-time drivers with us in VRRC, maybe going to Class 2 and have a little play there. Plenty of opportunities to get encouragement, plenty of opportunities to get coverage as well. You've seen how well our director Steve catches up with everything that's going on track. So yeah, can't really sell it any more than that, and it'd be great to have your company with us over the Tuesday nights from August and September. That's it for this evening. Massive thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and look forward to your company next week. Thanks as ever to Becky for joining me on CoComs. Always a pleasure, Becky. Thanks in advance to Ian Danaher for the work, and also to Steve Allen on great work as ever as our broadcaster director. See you all next week. Stay safe, stay cool, be nice to each other, and